Gunwu woke up 20 years in the past, staring at his young father in disbelief. In his previous life, he became a baseball superstar in America but lost his wife Yuri in a heartbreaking divorce. Now back in his teenage body with decades of pro experience, he shocks everyone by rejecting the major leagues to join Korea's worst team, the Busan Oceans, all to win a championship for Yuri and rewrite their tragic ending. However, before any of this, Gunwu thinks that life and baseball are very similar, because even after failing many times, one good swing can change everything. To Gunwu, if baseball is like a chessboard, then he is the queen, the most powerful piece. He even won the Cy Young Award, which is given to the best pitcher of the season. Gunwu ends up collecting almost every award he can, even the Golden Glove, both as a pitcher and as a shortstop. But on what should be the best day of his life, while he is wearing the World Series championship ring, Gunwu ends up getting divorced. It turns out Yuri and Gunwu have known each other since they were kids, and she is only 2 years older than him. One day, she buys him a ring for his birthday, but he does not really like it because he thinks it will make it harder for him to pitch on the mound, yet she still makes him wear it anyway. From that day on, this magic ring becomes his special secret weapon, and whenever he gets into an argument with Yuri, he pulls out the ring like it can fix things. Gunwu starts to wonder if this ring truly holds some kind of magic and if it could somehow bring them back to the time when they were happy together again. All of a sudden, Gunwu is transported to a different place, and he sees an old man sitting right in front of him, while his father is standing beside him. Seeing his dad, Gunwu slips off his chair and stares, wondering how his father looks so young and why he is wearing a school uniform. He looks around the place and slowly realizes that he is back in the house he lived in when he was in high school. At that moment, his father tells him to believe in him and to pick the Oceans team, saying that he even risked his job as the team's director just to bring him in. Gunwu remembers how the Oceans team director, who was known for being clumsy, came to their home many times trying to recruit him. Feeling overwhelmed, Gunwu jumps up, rushes out of the room, and heads straight to the door with the number 301 on it. Gunwu rings the doorbell, and when he hears Yuri's voice again, his face turns red and he quietly says that it's him. Yuri opens the door, and Gunwu can't believe she is really standing right in front of him like before. He immediately hugs her tightly, which makes her jump in surprise, so she starts touching his forehead and cheeks, thinking he might be sick or acting strange. She then asks how the meeting with the Oceans director went, but Gunwu asks her instead if she can hear how fast his heart is beating. She tells him to answer his phone, and when Gunwu picks it up, he tells his dad that he is not going to the US, because he feels like all the awards and achievements he worked so hard for no longer mean anything to him now. Hearing that, Yuri freaks out and asks why he isn't going to America all of a sudden. Gunwu doesn't reply to her and starts feeling dizzy and then falls in her arms. He then starts getting flashbacks of the Yuri from a few days ago, and then he wonders if he is actually returning to the present. However, the Yuri that's in front of him tells him that she will let it slide this once if he grant her 3 wishes, but Gunwu wonders what kind of wishes she is talking about out of the blue. Gunwu then wakes up in the hospital and wonders if it was just a dream, but then he notices the ring that Yuri gave to him on his finger. Suddenly, Gunwu's parents and Yuri start acting weird and asks him if he recognizes her. Gunwu's dad asks him why he doesn't want to go to America, saying the director was so happy when he heard the news. However, Gunwu's mom tells him they can talk about this later, but his dad is shocked, because the son who was completely set on going to America suddenly changes his mind like this. After that, Yuri starts yelling at him loudly, and Gunwu realizes that everything is happening the same way it did 20 years ago, almost like nothing has changed. The only difference he notices is that the old, rusted ring he wears has now turned silver again, and there are 3 strange dot-like marks engraved on it. He starts wondering if the ring is showing some kind of wish gauge or something like that. Later that day, Yuri takes him out to eat lunch, and she shouts at him to hurry up and eat his food. While hearing her familiar voice and the way she talks, Gunwu feels deep inside that he has truly come back to the past, and even if the ring really does measure wishes, the fact that he can see her again means he already got the wish he wanted most. Gunwu asks her what her wish is, but she ignores his question and keeps eating her chicken, so he tells her again that he is being serious. She finally answers that her wish is for him to stay healthy, so he should eat properly, and this makes Gunwu remember how she used to cry like the world was ending whenever he got even the smallest injury. Later, Gunwu watches the Oceans game on TV, and the team ends up falling into a 5-game losing streak, which makes Yuri start crying. 1 week later, during a press conference, a reporter asks Gunwu how he feels about joining the Oceans with a record-breaking contract. Gunwu says that his goal is to win a championship with the Oceans, and everyone becomes shocked. It turns out that Gunwu is doing this because he believes that winning with the Oceans is Yuri's true wish. Earlier, Gunwu goes to meet with the director, and the director offers him the highest rookie contract ever, which is 1.5 billion won. Gunwu knows that many major league teams have already given him offers that are way better than this, but he still feels like getting 1.5 billion won from the Oceans is an amazing deal. After all, he is a player who once won the Cy Young Award as a pitcher and also earned the Gold Glove as a hitter in the major leagues. Gunwu tells the director that he will do his very best, and the director starts to look a bit nervous after hearing that. The director tells Gunwu that the SMC he asked for earlier can be given, but because it is very expensive, it has to be provided as a long-term lease instead of a regular purchase. Then, the director asks Gunwu to keep today's contract a secret until the draft happens, which makes Gunwu wonder why he has to hide it. The director explains that it is all part of a plan because every other team thinks Gunwu is going to the major leagues, and once they draft him, all their strategies will collapse. Later that night, Yuri gets upset with Gunwu because he keeps avoiding her eyes, and she feels frustrated that he won't even look at her. She then asks him if he has a girlfriend, and Gunwu gets nervous and quickly says that he does not. She tells him that if he cannot even control his face and reactions, then he should not even dream about becoming a major league player. Gunwu then tells her that he is actually going to join the Oceans, and she becomes excited right away. But then she realizes that the reason he is not going to the major leagues is because he chose the Oceans instead. At that moment, Yuri's father comes in, and it turns out he heard everything that was said. Yuri's whole family is strong Oceans fans. But Gunwu can tell that his own dad is still unhappy because Gunwu gave up going to America. Gunwu also notices Yuri's younger brother watching him, and the brother asks if Gunwu can leak some insider information about him to the Oceans fan gallery online. Hearing that, Gunwu does everything he can to stop him from going through with it. The next day, at the Oceans office, someone asks the director what they will do about Mateos if they decide to draft Gunwu, but then another director walks in and jokingly calls him the draft king, which makes him really angry. Later, the rookie draft for the Oceans begins, and the director steps up to the mic and announces that the Oceans have selected Gunwu from Kimhango High School. In the end, Byongseong, who everyone thought would join the Oceans, ends up being taken by the Mateos instead. The next day, Gunwu gets ready to leave for the induction ceremony, but right before he walks out, Yuri gives him a pair of glasses. She says that the Oceans' right-handed ace always wears glasses and insists that he wear them too, because she thinks the fans will instantly like him more if he does. Back at the ceremony, a reporter asks Gunwu about the amazing record he set in high school, where he had an ERA below 1.00 as a pitcher and a .680 batting average as a hitter, and then asks if people will get to see him continue playing both as a pitcher and a hitter in the KBO League. Hearing the question, Gunwu remembers that the director had strictly told him to keep today's contract a secret, but even so, he had set one condition for himself: he would not play both as a pitcher and a hitter. He then announces that he has decided to focus only on hitting, which surprises everyone in the room. Before anyone can respond, the director steps in to explain that Gunwu did really well in high school and in the WBSC, but the professional level is completely different. The club suggested that he concentrate on hitting first so he can adjust better to the pros, and he adds that in the future, the Oceans will try to help him develop the ability to play both roles if possible. Later that night, Gunwu meets Yuri in the park and asks her if she watched his induction ceremony. She jumps at him and asks why he made such a reckless comment about winning a championship, warning him that if he doesn't win, the Oceans fans won't let him off easy. Then she asks why he doesn't want to pitch anymore, and Gunwu replies by asking her if she remembers the wish she made before. Gunwu thinks that during his major league days, whenever he got injured, Yuri would cry her eyes out, so that's why he is not pitching anymore. Afterward, Gunwu gives Yuri a shirt and tells her it's a gift from him because he thought it would look nice on her. He also says that he will stay a little longer to train, and she can go home and send him a picture later. But before he can finish, she quickly grabs his arm and says that she will come with him. Later, they finally arrive at the club, and Yuri gets excited when she sees the SMC machine, which makes Gunwu realize that before he returned, Yuri must have studied sports science and acted as his personal conditioning coach. After that, Gunwu starts his training with Yuri's help, and for the first time in a long while, he does a proper, detailed training session with her. However, the sweet moment doesn't last long because later that night, Gunwu tries to text Yuri, but she doesn't reply to him at all. After that, Gunwu rushes to Yuri's apartment, and she opens the door crying. He immediately asks her what's wrong, and she shows him her phone, revealing that the reason she hadn't answered was because the Oceans finished in last place again. She continues crying, and Gunwu tells her that he will make sure the Oceans win and promises her he will make it happen. As he says this, Gunwu remembers that before he went back in time, He used to make promises to Yuri that he couldn't keep, and he realizes now that those empty promises only ended up hurting her even more. Later, Gunwu and Yuri go out for a quick walk, but she asks him if he isn't going to suggest watching a movie, saying that she already had her heart broken today just from watching the oceans make mistakes. Gunwu takes her to a batting cage and asks her to take a video of him because he wants to check his batting form. After that, practice begins, and he manages to hit long, powerful shots that surprise Yuri. He thinks to himself that he wanted to tell her he would put the championship ring on her finger, but he doesn't want to say anything that would sound empty. Then he hits another strong shot, turns to Yuri, and tells her that he will make sure to put the Ocean's championship ring on her finger. Hearing that, Yuri starts blushing, and Gunwu teasingly asks if she is falling in love with him right now, but she scolds him instead and says that she is hungry. Gunwu realizes that when Yuri is hungry, it actually means she is feeling better. That day, she completely demolishes 5 servings of samgyeopsal, and 2 days later, the Ocean's manager resigns, taking responsibility for the team's poor performance. However, the season ends with the Changwon Pirates sweeping the Korean series. Gunwu congratulates his dad on all of this, but his dad ignores him and goes downstairs to stir up some trouble. Seeing that, Gunwu wonders why his dad is acting like this, because normally he would be running downstairs excitedly. After that, Gunwu's mom asks him to play catch with his dad before the season starts. She tells him that when he was younger, it used to be just the two of them playing together all the time. Later, Gunwu thinks back, but all he really remembers about his dad is how much they fought over the divorce. The next day, Gunwu asks his dad if he wants to play catch, and they start throwing the ball back and forth. During practice, Gunwu wonders if his dad's throws have always been this slow, but he soon realizes that his dad can't throw very hard anymore because of his age. Later, Gunwu apologizes to his dad for breaking his promise to go to America, and they continue playing catch until the sun sets, enjoying the time together. Soon, the season ends and the full FA market opens, and Yuri's favorite player, the Ocean's third baseman Jong Shin, leaves for the Irons, which makes her completely break down. Gunwu thinks that everything is happening exactly like before, because losing a national team level third baseman is a huge blow to the Oceans. But the bigger problem is that the Oceans, after losing all their internal free agents, panic and quickly sign 2 new players. Yuri and her father try to stay positive, saying that the signings were necessary for the team, but in Gunwu's memories, both of those players ended up being total busts. After that, the Oceans hired Breadman as their new head coach, and Gunwu remembers that Breadman used to be his defense coach when he played for the Oakland A's in the MLB. A few years later, Gunwu is finally an adult, and he heads to spring training with the batting coach, Byung-gu. The coach looks at his swing and tells him that his batting form is really bad and that they will need to completely rebuild it from the ground up. After that, Gunwu continues training with the other coaches, and during practice, an outfielder named Young-han comes over and asks if he wants to go out for drinks later. Gunwu thinks to himself that Young-han only relies on drinking and women, and getting close to someone like that will probably ruin his own career over time. So, he makes an excuse and says that he doesn't drink alcohol, and Young-han leaves. Then, another huge guy named Deeun comes over. Even though Deeun looks scary at first, he encourages Gunwu and tells him that his throws are actually really good. Gunwu then realizes that the field players seem to be split into 2 groups. One group follows Deeun and the other follows Kwihyun. On top of that, the pitchers are also divided between the starters and the bullpen, so Gunwu starts to wonder how they are supposed to win a championship when the entire team feels so separated. Just then, Gunwu gets a call from Yuri and she asks him how the atmosphere is over there, so he tells her that everything is fine and nothing seems strange. She then tells him to check the news, and when Gunwu does, he sees a headline saying that Kwihyun was caught drunk driving. The next day, the head coach asks one of the coaches about Kwihyun, and the coach explains that his license has been revoked and now they don't have any standout player among the backup infielders anymore. The head coach looks around at some players, who always make mistakes, but then his eyes move to Gunwu, and he asks the coach if Gunwu has made any mistakes. The coach answers that he hasn't seen Gunwu make a mistake yet, but the head coach still wants to see for himself. So, he tells someone to throw a deep ball, and when the ball is hit, Gunwu runs back and easily handles the difficult catch without any trouble. However, the ball hits the corner of the base and bounces high into the air. Gunwu quickly jumps up and catches the ball mid-air with an amazing grab that stuns everyone watching. From the dugout, his teammates jump to their feet, cheering loudly and shouting in excitement over Gunwu's unbelievable catch. The manager is impressed as he tries to process what he just saw happening. Then, he looks over at coach and asks straight out if he could have ever made a catch like that back when he was still playing. Coach Na smiles sheepishly and admits that even though he was a defensive specialist player, a play like that would have been beyond his ability. He explains the sheer difficulty of the play and emphasizes how the unpredictable bounce off the base made it nearly impossible to catch. Gunwu looks over and sees another player, Kyungwoo, walking toward him on the field. The infielder doesn't waste any time and directly asks Gunwu if he prefers playing the shortstop position. Caught off guard by the sudden question, Gunwu feels confused and tries to figure out what Kyungwoo is really getting at. He remembers that when they played together on the national team, Kyungwoo was actually an outfielder, which makes his sudden interest in shortstop even more surprising. Then, Kyungwoo confidently tells Gunwu to pick a different position because he plans to take over the starting shortstop spot for himself. Kyungwoo scoffs at the idea and points out the fierce competition in the outfield positions but acknowledges it still becomes a better option than shortstop for him. He then erupts in anger and accuses Gunwu of trying to trick him into leaving the infield open for the taking easily. Gunwu mentally reviews the packed outfield roster with Wolfpack, Yang Dun, Lee Siwook, and Bae Yonghan already filling spots there. Kyungwoo argues there exists only one spot left in center field for anyone. While Gunwu agrees the competition is intense in those positions out there, Gunwu calmly dissects the competition and points out that their batting averages like Kim Sung-hun's .227 are hardly intimidating at all. He continues talking and notes two other outfielders did not even hit 2,000 averages, and a thoughtful Kyungwoo realizes he speaks the truth. With newfound excitement building, Kyungwoo declares that shortstop is a golden opportunity with no competition available, completely missing the point being made. As Kyungwoo fishes for agreement from him, Gunwu sighs and thinks his rival is clueless that the spot is empty because everyone knows it belongs to him already. Suddenly an angry fan's voice cuts through the air and screams for a player to get off the team immediately. Startled by the outburst happening, Gunwu and Kyungwoo turn to see what the commotion is about around them. As two players walk away from the area, one thinks he might know what happens here. Gunwu realizes the root of the team's internal conflict is senior Kim Soo-won, who looks visibly distressed right now. A flashback begins showing Kim Soo-won preparing to throw during a recent fielding practice on the field. In the memory scene, another player reacts in frustration as Soo-won makes a sloppy error and misses a catch badly. A furious coach tears into Kim Soo-won and yells that his rushed and messy defense would not even make a high school team play. The coach angrily orders him to repeat the drill and tosses another ball his way to try. He threatens to send Soo-won to the second team if he cannot handle the pressure, which leaves the player looking dejected and sad. Later on in the batting cage area, Kim Soo-won connects with the pitch and hits a solid line drive well. The same angry coach now praises Soo-won's good batting, which causes the player to crack a smug and relieved smile finally. An unseen veteran infielder watches with disgust and thinks Soo-won is getting cocky over a few good swings while trying to take his spot away. The veteran's resentment boils over as he screams in a furious internal monologue and accuses Soo-won of enjoying his struggles on purpose. The flashback ends as veteran glares and walks away from a distressed Kim Soo-won on the dark field alone. A narrator reveals there exists something Gunwu does not know as he sighs in frustration about it. Later on, a foreign teammate cheerfully asks Kim Soo-won to teach him Korean curses so he can understand them during games played. Elsewhere in another spot, Gunwu lets out a startled gasp and his face contorts in shock at something. The scene transitions to a quiet view of the field's chain-link fence standing there. A brown-haired teammate approaches Gunwu and asks if he can play second base position, which leaves Gunwu confused about why. The player confidently puts his arm around Gunwu and declares they will be the new shortstop and second base keystone combo together. A news report confirms Go Eun-tae was sent home for poor performance, which leaves the team without its starting second baseman now. The scene shifts to a view of a large apartment complex under a bright blue sky above. Inside the building, a young man teases his father about his favorite team losing 5 starters, and the father yells back about family loyalty mattering. While angrily peeling an apple with a knife, the father tells his son to blame him for the team's failures instead. As the son laments the team's doomed season ahead, a woman offers fruit to de-escalate the situation as the father jokingly puts his son in a headlock playfully. Suddenly a voice from another room urgently calls for their dad and uncle to come. The two men stop wrestling and the woman looks on with a puzzled expression on her face. The father and uncle rush into Yuri's room to find her staring at her computer in awe and asking what happened here. On the screen display, the team's starting pitcher Andy Garfield looks on with a determined expression showing. The foreign player who wanted to learn curses looks on with a blank stare at everything. Yuri's screen shows a live chat buzzing with excitement over Kong Gunwa's incredible performance in the team's scrimmage game. At bat in the box, Gunwu looks just as surprised as everyone else by his own powerful hit that he makes. Earlier in the day, Coach Breadman asks the team why they came last year, but but nobody says anything in response and the room goes quiet with silence. Gunwu answers that if even one player fails to do their part properly, the team will finish last again next season. Gunwu smirks to himself and thinks that Coach Bremen is as blunt as ever with his words. Coach Bremen announces that ISA's chemotherapy will end soon, which will help the team, and this causes the players to wonder if he means their suspended teammates coming back. The coach confidently proclaims he is there to help them succeed this year. He challenges them to prove their worth in the scrimmage as the team enthusiastically agrees with excitement. The scoreboard shows Gunwu listed as the starting shortstop and batting second in the lineup order. Gunwu adjusts his wrist guards on his arms and feels pleased with his spot in the lineup as it offers a top batting position with less pressure on him. Putting on his helmet over his head, he thinks about his initial worries now that 5 starting players are missing from the roster. He realizes the open spots have motivated everyone on the team and created an opportunity to secure a permanent starting role for themselves. The narration explains that the foreign players also feel the pressure to perform despite a coach's attempt to calm their nerves down. Pitcher Garfield winds up with an intense focus on his face and looks like he pitches in a championship game right now. With a mighty crack of the bat, a player makes solid contact with the pitch thrown. The pitch blazes past at 154 km per hour, and Gunwu's eyes widen in surprise from the batter's box watching. Gunwu adjusts his stance at the plate and realizes he needs to get his timing down to hit such a fast pitch coming. Suddenly a hand claps onto Gunwu's shoulder from behind and stops him in place. No Kyungwoo gives him a smug look on his face and advises him to stay loose to avoid injury happening. Gunwu gives a hesitant reply and gets caught off guard by Kyungwoo's overly friendly gesture toward him. He finds Kyungwoo's behavior bizarre and notes how he suddenly acts like his best friend after their earlier confrontation before. Looking out at the field ahead, Gunwu notices another teammate waving excitedly and wonders what he feels so happy about right now. The catcher walks up to Gunwu and asks if the rookie is daydreaming or just unusually relaxed today. Catcher warned him that the pitches are heavy to hit and Gunwu thanks Senior for the advice given. Gunwu gets into his batting stance and focuses on the challenge ahead after so long without a real game to play. He recalls facing pitcher Andy Garfield in his previous life and remembers he played in both the KBO and MLB leagues. A player profile for Andy Garfield appears in his mind and notes he was known for inducing weak contact in the MLB before. Analyzing Garfield's pitch charts in his memory, Gunwu remembers he was a reliable 4th or 5th starter for several seasons there. Gripping his bat tightly in his hands, Gunwu wonders if his current less muscular body can handle Garfield's power pitches. As the pitcher grips the ball on the mound, Gunwu correctly predicts he will be tested with a fastball first pitch. Gunwu focuses intently and readies himself in the batter's box for the incoming pitch coming at him. Andy Garfield begins his wind-up motion and feels determined to see how his pitches measure up against Korean hitters here. Gunwu connects with the pitch and swings with all his might as the ball rockets off the bat into the air. A thought echoes that with power like that, the pitcher has no business being in the KBO league at all. The ball compresses against Gunwu's bat in a stunningly powerful impact between them. Pitcher Andy Garfield stares in disbelief with sweat pouring down his face as he watches the ball fly away. A coach asks Coach Young if a former MLB pitcher like Garfield would be considered a fireballer in Korea, and he stammers in agreement nervously. The ball goes deep into the outfield and looks destined for the wall as a player gives chase running. The head coach lowers his head in stunned silence and feels completely shocked by the hit he witnessed. Gunwu watches the play unfold as teammates shout his name in amazement and exclaim that the ball is gone over the fence. A teammate tries to console a pale Andy Garfield and reminds him that it just becomes a scrimmage game. Gunwu thinks to himself that Garfield looks completely demoralized and worries that he crushed the spirit of the team's ace pitcher. As he trots around the bases in order, Gunwu smiles and wonders to himself how the ball managed to fly so far away. The crowd cheers as the ball sails over the right fielder's head, and they urge Garfield to hang in their strength. Gunwu narrates that during his second attempt at bat later, he hit a clean double off the bullpen's ace reliever named Park. Park gives Gunwu a genuine thumbs up from the mound and shows his respect for the hit made. Standing on the base with his pants dirted from the slide, Gunwu looks on with a puzzled expression wondering. Another batter takes a mighty swing and seemingly charges up his power for the hit coming. Gunwu thinks it just like the number 1 pick to break through his defense while calling him the strangest of them all. The camera focuses on a worn brown leather baseball glove sitting there. Another hit sends runners dashing for home as the announcer declares it becomes a double hit. An outfielder watches helplessly as another ball flies over the fence for back-to-back home runs scored. Looking at the high-scoring scoreboard display, someone thinks it feels odd to have so many hits in a mere scrimmage game. Gunwu watches with a serious expression and acknowledges that something is wrong, even if the pitchers are just experimenting with pitches. While sitting in the dugout area, Gunwu is approached from behind by one of the coaches walking up. Gunwu turns to respectfully answer the coach's call to him. Pitching coach asks Gunwu if he wants to pitch on the mound. A stunned Gunwu can only react with his surprised response. Gunwu thinks about the perfect response of refusing because pitching is too risky and promising her he would not get hurt playing. But a narration box clarifies that was only what he should have said, which implies he accepted the offer instead. A hand casually tosses a baseball into the air and gets ready for action. After that, Gunwu starts wondering to himself that it would probably be a lot easier for him to mix in and use the curve and slider pitches that he threw and used pretty often when he was playing in the major leagues. He then makes the decision to go with the changeup pitch instead because it is the type of pitch that comes with the least amount of injury risk to his arm. The person who is batting right now is Deeun, and he keeps thinking to himself that Gunwu had a whole lot of talent and skill as a pitcher way back when he was still in high school. But at the same time Gunwu is thinking his own thoughts about Deeun and believes that Deeun is actually the best hitter on the entire Oceans team. Gunwu also thinks to himself that Deeun is the kind of player who creates his own personal strike zone in his mind and only chooses to swing his bat when the ball comes inside of that specific zone he has set up for himself. When it comes time for the first pitch of this at-bat, Gunwu makes the decision to go ahead and throw a fastball, which ends up being called a strike by the umpire, and then Gunwu decides to throw the exact same type of pitch again, but this time he throws it a little bit higher than the previous one, and then Deeun manages to make contact with the ball and hits it as a foul ball. Deeun thinks to himself that Gunwu just threw another fastball at him, which clearly means that he is definitely not an ordinary or average player, but Deeun knows and feels confident that the next ball that is coming has to be an off-speed pitch for sure. However, the catcher signals Gunwu to throw a changeup next, so Gunwu winds up and throws the ball with the exact same form and arm speed as his last pitch. The ball goes toward Deeun, who assumes it's another fastball, but it turns out to be a circle changeup instead. Still, the ball drops suddenly, and the catcher loses track of it, allowing Deeun to easily reach another base safely. Watching that happen, Gunwu starts to wonder if he'll have to play as the catcher too if they really want to win a championship. After that happens, another batter steps up to the plate to take his turn, and the catcher behind home plate signals and indicates that he wants a fastball to be thrown. Gunwu throws a really strong and powerful fastball toward the plate, and the batter manages to hit the ball with his bat, but the ball ends up going straight back in the direction toward where Gunwu is standing on the mound. The comment section on the internet goes completely wild with people talking about it, and even Gunwu's own family members start saying and discussing that if he keeps playing at this level like he is doing right now, he might end up hitting 20 runs and 50 home runs by the time the season is over. After the game finally ends and is finished, Gunwu decides to call Yuri and his family members on a video call to talk to them, and this action makes his dad really upset because Gunwu still has not called him even one single time yet, but Yuri is the one who gets a video call from him instead of his dad. Afterward, Yuri asks Gunwu if he remembers what day it is today, but Gunwu gets really scared as soon as he hears this question from her. He wonders and thinks to himself if it is Yuri's birthday or if it is some kind of another special day today that he forgot about. Gunwu then quickly makes up an excuse and says that his coach is calling him right now and he has to leave immediately, but then he realizes that it is the 14th of February today, which means that it is Valentine's Day, and that is why she asked. Later on, Gunwu asks his teammate Kyungwoo to recommend him some good candy that he can give as a gift, but Kyungwoo responds by saying that seeing as his name is not in the starting lineup for the game, he must be a secret weapon that the team is saving for the big plays. The match then begins and starts, and it looks like the other team's pitcher, whose name is Yongjae, has pitches that seem faster than usual because he is the national team's ace pitcher. Seeing that performance, Gunwu also thinks to himself that Yongjae of the Mateos team is the national ace player, and he even did well enough in the major leagues to make a name for himself there. Yongjae then manages to strike out a batter, and Gunwu thinks that he's a tough pitcher, so it won't be easy to break through. Gunwu then thinks that if he hits the home run it will be perfect and more romantic than giving candy. After that, Gunwu covers as much ground as he can and the match continues. Soon, 'tis Gunwu's turn for bat, and just as he heads to the mound, a senior whispers him to look for the slider as Yongji's been practicing it all wonder, but from what he saw earlier, it's still a bit flat. Afterwards, Gunwu gets to the batter's plate and he hits the shot one after another, which surprises everyone. Gunwu then runs really fast to try to save the bases and keep the play alive, and he thinks to himself that right now is the perfect time when he is going to give a special gift to Yuri. He keeps thinking to himself that if this game were being played in the major leagues instead, he would probably be hit with a headshot pitch by this point in the game. Gunwu then starts acting in a really weird and strange way while he is running on the field, and this behavior makes all of the other players wonder and ask themselves what is wrong with Gunwu and why he is acting like this. In the end, when everything is finished, Gunwu ends up going 2 for 2 at the plate with 1 home run and 1 walk during his at-bats, and the team is leading by a score of 5-0 when he gets replaced by another player named Kyungwoo. The game then finally ends with the Mateo's team making an amazing comeback victory to win it all, and meanwhile Yuri is sitting at home counting the days and waiting for when Gunwu is going to come back to see her again. However, thanks to Wolfpack's back-to-back home runs, the Oceans win their first game of the second practice match. Gunwu thinks that Wolfpack's ability to handle breaking balls isn't quite at a major league level yet, but at this rate, he could become a solid player in Korea. Gunwu starts complimenting Wolfpack, but then Simpson, the Ocean's foreign pitcher, comes over and asks if he wants to bet on who wins Rookie of the Year. Gunwu replies that in Korea, foreign players aren't eligible for that award. After that, Breadman approaches Gunwu and asks if he can speak English well, and when Gunwu admits that he can't communicate very well, the coach steps in and asks if Gunwu is defying his orders. The next day after, Gunwu thinks that he is going to prove himself and show everyone what he can do in today's game, which they are playing against the Pirates team. He thinks and remembers that the regions where both teams are from are close to each other, and the rivalry between them was formed and created because of early power struggles between the teams a long time ago. In reality and truth, the Pirates are last year's champions who won everything, and the Oceans were dead last and in the very bottom of the standings. Gunwu then gets to the mound and steps into the batter's box and thinks that the catcher, who is one of Korea's top 3 catchers in the entire league, whose name is Teo, is leading and playing for the Pirates right now. The pitcher then throws the ball toward home plate, but Gunwu does not move or swing his bat at all. This surprises Teo because he thought that Gunwu would be more aggressive and ready to swing, and then Teo gives a signal to the pitcher to throw a 4-seam fastball right down the middle of the plate. The pitcher then throws the ball, which Gunwu manages to hit because he needs a home run, but the ball gets a foul ball. The pitcher keeps throwing the ball, and Gunwu keeps missing, which makes Teo think that Gunwu is just like any ordinary player and that he only boosted his confidence for no reason. Gunwu then looks at the pitcher and notices that his mind is full of thoughts about throwing strikes because he seems nervous. After that, the pitcher gets ready to throw again, but right before he releases the ball, Gunwu quickly runs toward the base and makes it safe. Afterward, another batter from Oceans goes to the mound and Teo thinks that if he throws a fastball, he'll bite right into it, so he decides to go with a changeup. Afterward, we get a flashback of when the Breadman asked Gunwu if he was defying his orders and says that he specifically told him he would give him the green light to steal. Back in present, Gunwu tells Breadman that it's not that he is ignoring his green light, but he believes that avoiding injuries and staying healthy as it helps the team more than taking a risky steal. Hearing that, Breadman agrees with him and says that whenever he feels it's necessary, he should go ahead and steal. Kyungwoo stands at the plate and gets surprised when 2 fast pitches zoom past him one after another. Even though he gets caught off guard, he lets a confident smile show on his face because he feels totally sure the pitcher will never throw another 4-seam fastball for the 3rd time in a row. When the next pitch starts coming toward home plate, Kyungwoo gets himself ready to swing his bat at what he thinks will be a breaking ball with some curve to it. His body freezes up with shock as he realizes another straight fastball is heading right through the middle of the strike zone. The umpire behind home plate calls out loudly that Kyungwoo strikes out completely. Kong Teo, the catcher wearing protective gear, catches that final pitch in his mitt successfully. After catching the ball, Teo gets up from his crouching position behind the plate, and his mind fills up with intense thoughts about his strong desire to catch Gunwu during his next attempt to steal a base. At the same time, a player from the Oceans team stays standing on first base and keeps his position carefully on the baseball field. Teo, who wears full catcher equipment, feels frustrated as he wonders about the reason why the runner on first base does not make any move to go to the next base. He realizes with disappointment that all of his careful preparation turns out to be completely unnecessary and wasted. Standing along the sidelines of the field, Teo complains about the uncomfortable cramping feeling in his legs while saying negative things about that young troublemaker named Gunwu. Tao looks up when a large and strong man wearing an Ocean's uniform walks toward him, and Teo greets this person by calling him Senior Dan. Dan responds to Teo in a gentle way and asks him to stop using the word senior when talking to him, but Teo says sorry and explains that using that word just becomes an automatic habit for him. Dan explains he comes to this place because his youngest family member has something important to say, and he points towards someone who cannot be seen right now. Teo starts talking to the unseen Gunwu in a lecturing voice and gives him a serious warning not to try stealing bases during the regular season games, and while doing this, Teo thinks to himself that Gunwu looks like what Kyungwoo might look like as a grown person. Gunwu walks toward Teo in a shy and nervous way, and Teo asks him about what he wants while standing with his arms crossed over his chest in a somewhat unfriendly way. Gunwu shows a bright and exciting look on his face as he holds up a blue jersey with the Pirates logo and asks Teo with lots of excitement if he will write his autograph on the shirt. Teo responds with a look of complete shock because he gets thoroughly surprised by this unexpected request that he does not see coming at all. Feeling happy and honored by having a fan, Teo signs his name on the jersey with happiness showing on his face, but Gunwu tries in an awkward way to explain that the jersey actually goes to his father who loves the Pirates team a lot. Teo completely ignores this important correction and asks how many years Gunwu follows him as a fan instead. Even though Gunwu feels frustrated inside because no one seems to listen when he tries to explain himself, the scene shifts to show him arriving home happily. As he steps inside, he calls out that he's back, and his parents, both smiling warmly, greet him with open arms while standing together in the doorway. His mother shows her affection through caring gestures, and Gunwu talks politely with both of his parents. His father offers to carry his bags for him, but Gunwu politely declines, explaining that he will be leaving again soon for another place. His father makes a joke complaint about raising his son only to have him run off right away to spend time with Yuri, but his mother defends Gunwu about this choice. Gunwu takes out a red shopping bag and gives it to his father as a gift, which makes his father show a surprised reaction on his face. His father's face changes into one of pure joy as he pulls out a signed Pirates jersey from the bag, and Gunwu explains with a serious look that he gets this autograph from Teo himself. Gunwu's father speaks while telling him to go ahead with visiting Yuri because she is probably waiting for him right now. Through text messages, Gunwu tells Yuri that he gets back home and suggests that they meet at the playground spot to stay away from his family members. Gunwu stands outside in the cold weather and makes visible clouds with his breath as he looks around the area for Yuri. He turns his body, and he notices someone walking toward him. Yuri stands there in the cold, shivering from the chilly air, dressed in warm clothes including a pink jacket to keep herself cozy. Gunwu watches her with a gentle, happy look as she waits quietly. Without saying anything, he steps closer and wraps her in a firm, warm hug. Yuri is surprised, her face turning bright red as she asks why he suddenly hugged her. In the broadcast booth, two commentators greet all the fans watching and officially start the exhibition games while announcing that professional baseball comes back for another season. On a smartphone screen, an Ocean's fan forum fills up with comments about the exciting opening exhibition game against their rivals who play for the Angels team. An announcer explains that although the Angels play as a strong team with lots of talent, their matches against the Oceans always turns into thrilling close games that keep everyone on the edge of their seats. The Ocean starting pitcher named Andy Garfield makes his impressive Korean debut by throwing a powerful first pitch that shows off his skills. Garfield, who has blonde hair as a pitcher, yells out in English for a ground ball to come his way, which leaves a nearby infielder looking completely confused and baffled by what he says. A teammate asks Gunwu to translate what Garfield means, and Gunwu explains that Garfield wants them to handle ground balls properly since his specialty pitch happens to be the sinker that drops down. Standing out in the outfield, a confused Gunwu watches the exchange happen between his teammates on the field. The teammate named Kyungwoo gives Garfield a confident thumbs-up gesture and promises 100% effort while asking for a sinker pitch, which makes Garfield look bewildered and confused. Gunwu smirks to himself and privately calls his teammate an idiot in his mind for thinking that saying 100% counts as speaking fluent English properly. As Kyungwoo gives another thumbs-up gesture with his hand, Gunwu observes that the player's clumsy mixture of Korean and English somehow manages to relax the nervous pitcher and calm him down. Pounding his glove with his fist, Kyungwoo gets into a ready stance on the field and shouts out the words "come on" in a loud voice. Gunwu smiles in a fond way and thinks that despite his goofy nature and silly personality, it becomes impossible to dislike Kyungwoo as a person. Looking around at the massive crowd of cheering fans filling the stadium, Gunwu worries that it will be difficult to spot Yuri among so many people sitting in different sections. But high up in the stands, Yuri waves her arms wildly in the air and calls his name out loud. Gunwu spots her instantly with a soft laugh coming from his mouth. The umpire points in a decisive way and shouts out the words, "play ball" to start the game officially. The Angels' leadoff batter named Lee Jong-gu steps up to the plate to take his turn. He gets known as a notorious left-handed hitter with certain habits. Gunwu analyzes the batter's tendencies in his mind and recalls that he favors hitting doubles and loves to swing at the very first pitch that comes toward him. A powerful whooshing sound fills the air as the baseball hurls toward the plate at high speed. Lee Jang swings his bat and connects for a hard-hit ball that sails toward the gap in left center field area. In a stunning display of athletic ability, Gunwu makes a spectacular leaping catch to rob the batter of getting a hit on the play. In the stands, the fans stare with wide eyes showing disbelief at the incredible play they witness. On the mound, a thrilled and relieved Andy Garfield shouts Gunwu's name as the stadium erupts in loud cheers from every direction. Another infielder watches the ball land in Gunwu's glove and grumbles that he should have been the one to make that catch instead. The jealous teammate yells out that Gunwu just gets lucky on that play. While Gunwu already feels exhausted from the effort he puts in, the next batter makes contact with the ball and sends it soaring high into the bright blue sky above. An outfielder positions himself perfectly in the right spot and makes the routine catch for the third out of the inning to end it. The scoreboard shows a scoreless top of the first inning as a player reflects on their clean 7-pitch inning that goes smoothly. Now sitting in the dugout, Gunwu adjusts his batting gloves on his hands and notes that the game settles down faster than usual compared to other times. The Ocean's leadoff batter swings and drives a clean single between third base and shortstop positions. Gunwu touches his helmet with his hand and believes his amazing catch successfully fires up the team and gets them motivated. The massive stadium jumbotron lights up with Gunwu's profile picture as he gets announced as the next batter coming up. In the crowd, Yuri cheers with excitement, which causes lots of embarrassment for her younger brother sitting right beside her in the seats. Gunwu takes a powerful practice swing to prepare himself in the batter's box area. His bat connects with the on-deck circle weight as he finishes his warm-up routine. A brilliant flash of light signals the moment of impact between bat and ball. With intense focus in his eyes, Gunwu stands ready at the plate with his eyes locked on the pitcher standing on the mound. He connects with the pitch and the sound of solid contact echoes through the entire stadium for everyone to hear. Gunwu follows through on his swing motion and watches the ball fly off his bat into the air. The crowd watches in stunned silence with their mouths open wide at the power of the hit they see. Overcome with excitement about what happens, Yuri grabs her mortified brother in a celebratory headlock with her arms. An Angels outfielder leaps at the wall trying to catch it, but the ball hits the very top of the fence just out of his reach and ability. As the hit unfolds on the field, the runner Bae Yong-han rounds the bases and scores easily from first base without any problem. A celebration fist rises in the air to celebrate the clutch hit. Gunwu pumps his arm in victory while standing on second base as the stadium echoes with chants of his name over and over. He looks toward the stands where fans sit. His thoughts go to Yuri as the cheers for Gunwu continue getting louder. Yuri's brother struggles and complains that she chokes him and makes him miss Gunwu's big hit completely. Suddenly, Yuri freezes in place as she realizes the scenario feels strangely familiar to something from before as her brother calls out her full name Young Yuri. The scoreboard now reads Oceans 1 and Angels 0, which confirms her sense of experiencing déjà vu. A quick flashback shows a similar scoreboard from a previous year's game in the past. In past memories, a frustrated young Yuri complains to her brother that the Oceans always play amazingly in exhibition games but it never lasts into the regular season. Yuri's brother tells her she does not understand baseball well enough, but she insists with tears that the Oceans get called Springs because they only perform well in springtime. She continues to worry out loud and asks what will happen if the team falls apart again after the exhibition games end like before. Reacting to her words in his mind, Gunwu yells internally that today's game becomes crucial because players get extremely sensitive to the smallest things people say. As Yuri cries silently with tears on her face, her unspoken fears seem to hang in the air around them. Gunwu thoughtfully recalls that he used to be obsessed with all sorts of jinxes and superstitions as well in the past. With a serious expression on his face, Gunwu looks down and apologizes to Yuri for what might happen. A confused Yuri turns to him and silently questions his sudden apology with her eyes. Wiping away her tears from her face, Yuri smiles and tells him that he does not need to apologize at all. The scene flashes back to the exhibition match between the Angels and Oceans where Gunwu gets announced as the next batter once more. With a powerful cracking sound, Gunwu's bat makes solid contact with the ball coming toward him. The baseball soars high into the bright blue sky and traces a perfect arc through the air. As the crowd roars with excitement all around, Gunwu completes his swing motion fully. Watching the ball's path through the sky, he promises silently not to stress her out this time around. Gunwu's determination gets met with Yuri's hopeful gaze looking at him. The ball continues its flight through the air as a small black dot against the vast sky above. The ball smacks off the top of the scoreboard as an outfielder watch without being able to do anything from below on the field. The stadium erupts with noise as Gunwu watches his home run ball fly away. In the stands where people sit, Yuri believes that with Gunwu on the team playing, things might finally be different this year compared to past years. A graphic shows the final exhibition game rankings with the Busan Oceans tied for first place in the standings. The scene changes to a quiet evening view of modern apartment buildings in the area. Later on, sitting on a bench together, Yuri talks about how quickly opening day arrives and asks Gunwu if he feels nervous about the game. Gunwu gently teases her for asking the same question earlier in the day, and she laughs it off like it means nothing. As Yuri hesitates to speak, Gunwu encourages her to share what stays on her mind. With tears starting to well up in her eyes, Yuri makes a desperate plea for him to get a hit off Kim Gwon-jong, who pitches on opening day. Gunwu jokingly misinterprets her request on purpose and asks if she wants him to start a fight and get kicked out of the game. Frantically trying to clarify what she means, Yuri begs him to hit a home run and explains that Kim Gwon-jong becomes the Ocean's dreaded nemesis who always beats them. As a tiny fuming Yuri explains how infuriating the pitcher acts toward their team, Gunwu acknowledges that Kim Gwon-jong gets considered one of the league's best pitchers around. Gunwu's expression becomes hard on his face as he realizes they face a tough battle right from opening day starting now. An exterior shot shows the massive stadium which serves as home of the Oceans under a clear sky above. In the broadcast booth where announcers sit, an announcer welcomes fans to the new season and introduces his partner who works as commentator. The Ocean's opening day lineup gets displayed on screen with Gunwu listed as the sixth batter in order. The commentators explain that 2 rookies will be filling the keystone combination positions due to recent roster changes on the team. As players warm up on the field, the commentators identify the rookies as Gunwu and Kyungwoo while hyping their performance against the Anian Vikings team. In the dugout where players wait, Kyungwoo observes the scoreboard and figures he gets placed lower in the batting order to ease his debut pressure on him. Pounding his glove with his fist, he dismisses the thought and decides the batting order does not matter to him at all. The home plate umpire points in a decisive way and shouts out "play ball" to start everything. The commentator announced the start of the opening game and introduces the Ocean's pitcher Andy Garfield for his official domestic debut in Korea. With a powerful wind-up motion, Garfield unleashes a pitch and his impressive fastball and breaking ball skills get highlighted by commentators. Andy Garfield starts strong by striking out the Vikings' leadoff batter on 3 pitches. The next batter makes solid contact with the ball and sends a hard hit right past the pitcher's mound area. In a flash of movement, Gunwu appears and makes a diving catch to save the hit from going through. Gunwu gives a confident signal to his pitcher and thinks they must disrupt the Vikings' momentum to defeat Kim Gwon-jang today. From the Vikings' dugout where their team sits, a coach marvels at Gunwu's amazing defense and remarks that they should have signed him to their team. The player sitting next to him who plays as the Vikings shortstop glares with annoyance at the praise for his rival player. As the coach seeks agreement from others, the shortstop guy fumes internally at being dissed so innocently to his face like that. The third batter strikes out swinging and the commentators praise Garfield for retiring the side in order with 3 strikeouts total. In the bottom of the inning when Ocean's bat answers with a powerful 3-pitch strikeout against the Ocean's leadoff hitter at the plate. The commentators highlight his infamous dominance over the Ocean's team and cite his perfect 5-0 record against them last year. The second batter hits a grounder on the dirt and gets thrown out at first base, making it 2 outs now. In a flash of motion again, Gunwu makes another incredible diving catch and robs the batter of getting a hit on the play. Gunwu rises calmly from the dirt on the ground and dusts himself off after the spectacular play he makes. In the Vikings' dugout area, a player wearing number 2 named Jo Young-han watches the field with a blank expression on his face. In the stands, an older man and woman erupt in cheers with the woman proudly shouting that he becomes her son, while a younger man beside them looks on with dark annoyance showing. The woman nudges her husband with a sly grin and points out that she knew he would end up cheering for Gunwu eventually. The man looks stunned and turns to the young man to ask where his mom went. A guy sits beside Yuri and shakes his head in defeat while telling his father that he needs to stop her behavior. Another guy smiles weakly and explains his mom becomes the famous fan known as the Twin Flags of Dong, and even the commentators recognize her legendary status at games. On the field, Kim fools the batter with a change-up pitch for a strikeout. The next batter hits a lazy fly ball that gets easily caught by an outfielder for the out. The scoreboard remains locked at 0-0 as the commentators note the tense pitchers' duel unfolding between both teams. A player adjusts the tight crisscrossing straps of their gear in preparation for their turn. A batter digs their cleats into the dirt of the batter's box and gets ready for the pitch coming. Facing a stadium full of cheering fans everywhere, a player grips their bat and gets ready for the challenge ahead. The announcer introduces the number 1 rookie draft pick Gunwu for his official debut at bat as he steps up to face Kim Gwon-jong on the mound. Gunwu holds his bat firmly and his expression stays calm and focused as the crowd chants his name over and over. Yuri watches anxiously from her seat in the stands and regrets her wish while worrying about the immense pressure on Gunwu right now. On the mound where he stands, Kim sizes up Gunwu and recalls the rookie's impressive batting average during the exhibition games before. However, he quickly dismisses and pushes away the thought from his mind and starts to believe that exhibition games just exist and are only there for pitchers to test out and try new strategies that they want to work on. Gunwu remains calm and composed while he is standing at the plate waiting to bat, and he assumes and thinks that Kim simply sees him as just another rookie player who is making his professional debut in the game today. While taking his stance and getting ready in the batter's box, Gunwu silently challenges Kim inside his own mind and feels really determined and motivated to reveal and show the true skills of a player who is living in his second life right now. As Gunwu prepares himself to swing his bat at the incoming pitch, a thought bubble appears and highlights just how significant and important it is that he is facing this particular opponent in his very first professional at-bat that he has ever had in this life. Kim Gwonjong throws a powerful pitch and puts all his strength behind the ball heading toward home plate. In a flash of purple light, Gunwu's bat connects solidly with the baseball coming toward him. The moment of impact creates a blur of intense energy between bat and ball. The baseball spins violently and glows with power as it shoots off the bat into the air. Kim Gwonjong watches in shock as the ball speed shows on the screen displaying 150 km per hour. The baseball flies high into the sky and lands deep in the upper deck of the stadium seats. Gunwu calmly drops his bat to the ground and watches the path of his huge hit flying away through the air. The entire stadium fills with noise as fans get on their feet and cheer for the amazing home run they just witnessed. Kim Gwonjong falls down in sadness on the mound as the announcer says Gunwu hit an out-of-the-park home run, which becomes the first run the Oceans score against him in nearly 8 months. Feeling so much emotion inside, Yuri cries tears of happiness while trapping her annoyed brother in another celebratory headlock with her arms. Gunwu stands in a calm way and takes in the loud chants of his name echoing through the stadium with a sharp look of focus on his face. Gunwu's eyes shine brightly in the middle of the roaring crowd all around him. Now lifted onto her brother's shoulders, Yuri cheers wildly and leads the chants for Gunwu with excitement. The scoreboard changes to show the Oceans now leading the Vikings 1-0. In the broadcast booth, the commentators praise Andy Garfield's great start and say that the bullpen just needs to finish one more inning for the win. In the dugout, a player watches with a worried look as the game gets to its final stages. On the mound, Andy Garfield tells his coach that he will finish the game himself. Garfield winds up and throws another pitch with determination to close out the game. But the Vikings fight back with hits one after another and a runner from second base scores, which ties the game at 1-1. After pitching until 2 outs in the 9th inning, a sad Andy Garfield has to leave the mound with a runner still on first base. From the dugout, Gunwu watches what happens with a serious look. With a new pitcher on the mound, the Vikings runner takes off in a surprise steal and slides into second base safely, which puts the winning run in scoring position. The situation gets worse as the next batter gets walked and puts runners on first and second bases, and the announcer asks if the Oceans team starts to fall apart under pressure. With the bases loaded full, the Oceans bring in a new pitcher named Kim Jong-hook, who now faces his old team. The Vikings batter hit the pitch solidly. The ball bounces across the infield dirt and heads for the outfield. In a flash of movement, Gunwu makes a desperate diving stop on the ground. From his knees, Gunwu makes a powerful twisting throw towards second base. As the Vikings batter runs to first base, Gunwu realizes the runner moves slowly. No Kyungwoo catches the ball at second base as Gunwu's inner voice tells him to make a good throw to first. The baseball smacks into the first baseman's glove and finishes the play successfully. The umpire signals the out at first base and confirms a game-saving double play that ends the inning completely. No Kyungwoo hits his chest with pride and brags to Gunwu about his super rookie calmness under pressure. The teammate puts a hand on Kyungwoo's head and tells him to calm down and not celebrate like they win the championship already. Looking upset as he walks off the field, Kyungwoo says quietly that Gunwu just feels jealous. Back in the dugout, Gunwu looks at the lineup card and figures out that 2 batters need to get on base before he comes up to bat again. After Deeun gets a walk to first, an excited Kyungwoo tells Gunwu to get on base so he can be the one to finish the game. Feeling annoyed by the lack of response, Kyungwoo asks if he even listens to him. With the game tied in the bottom of the 9th inning and 2 outs on the board, a player holds their bat tight and gets ready for the final chance. The announcer calls Gunwu to the plate and the stadium fills with cheers for the hero of the opening home run. The catcher grabs the first pitch as the umpire says it becomes a ball outside. The second pitch also misses the strike zone and the umpire calls ball 2. The scoreboard lights up with 2 balls as the commentators praise Gunwu's impressive calmness for a rookie player. At the plate, Gunwu figures out the pitcher acts carefully but does not try to walk him on purpose. In the Vikings dugout, the coach makes a sign with his hands to his pitcher on the mound. Gunwu thinks about the slow runner at first base and knows an extra base hit might not be enough to bring him home and that the other team knows it too. Holding his bat tighter, He expects a fastball to come based on what he learned before. He thinks they will not waste more pitches and still see him as just a simple rookie despite the home run he hit earlier. The Vikings pitcher makes a face as he winds up and throws all his power into the pitch. Gunwu decides the risk becomes worth taking and thinks he will only lose one count at worst if wrong. Trusting what his gut tells him, Gunwu swings with all his might and connects perfectly with the pitch. The baseball flies high into the sky and curves beautifully over the stadium. On the on-deck circle, Kyungwoo looks on in shock and reminds Gunwu in a funny way that he was supposed to pass the chance to him. Gunwu raises his fist up high and knows he just won the game. The stands fill with crazy noise as the crowd chants Gunwu's name over and over. As Gunwu runs around the bases, the stadium echoes with loud cheers for their new hero. His very excited teammates crowd around him at home plate and pour water on him in a wild celebration. A reporter walks up to Gunwu for a post-game interview and asks him to share his feelings with the fans. Smiling with confidence while the chants continue, Gunwu gets ready to answer. During the interview on the field, the crowd's roar of Gunwu keeps going without stopping. Facing the reporter, Gunwu begins by truly thanking the fans for filling the stadium today. He stops for a moment and a look of confusion shows on his face as he seems to notice something in the crowd. The camera moves to show a very happy Yuri surrounded by confetti and cheering his name with all her heart. A warm smile appears across Gunwu's face as he looks out at his supporters everywhere. With new confidence growing inside, Gunwu faces the crowd and says out loud that he loves them all. Hearing his words clearly, Yuri stops moving and her face turns red as a single happy tear runs down her cheek. In the locker room, a shirtless teammate warns Gunwu that if he ever breaks up with Yuri, it will ruin his reputation forever in front of everyone. As his teammate complains about being slapped by an ex-girlfriend in the past, Gunwu thinks in a dry way about the 7.8 billion won the team spent on this guy they hired. After explaining his transfer happened because of a series of romantic problems in Seoul, the teammate casually invites Gunwu to go clubbing with him later. Gunwu glares as No Kyungwoo protests with a strike sign and threatens their partnership if Gunwu does not introduce him to Yuri's friend soon. Watching the broadcast at home, Gunwu's mom talks excitedly over his romantic gesture while his dad grumbles about it, which prompts their young son to cheer and say nice shot to mom. A shocked Yuri yells at Gunwu and blames him for her newfound fame among people everywhere. She complains she now needs makeup for convenience store runs while Gunwu watches silently without saying anything back. Gunwu's mother explains that Yuri fainted from excitement after his game-winning homer and public confession on television. At the next game, a player firmly plants their bat on the ground and gets ready to play hard. Gunwu steps up to the plate with his expression calm and focused despite the stadium's roar all around. In the stands, a happy Yuri with braided hair cheers wildly, which confirms for Gunwu that his mother was right about what happened. Gunwu glances back at the crowd with a faint and confident smile on his face. From the stands, a fan taunts the opposing team and declares he will be taking all the drumsticks today from them. The opposing batter named Deeun breaks into a cold sweat and begs not to be reminded of the drumstick incident from before. Deeun looks on with a grim expression and the memory clearly weighs on his mind as he sees his teammates around. Gunwu recalls the infamous story of Deeun Sr.'s drumstick incident after a terrible game he played. In a flashback scene, a furious fan throws something at Deeun and yells at him to quit baseball completely. The flashback shows a bloody Deeun struck in the head by a drumstick on his way home after the game. Despite the assault on him, he publicly laughed it off but has only eaten boneless chicken since that day happened. The catcher Young calls out to Deeun from behind the plate where he crouches. Deeun nervously promises his former teammate Young Hyung that he will do his best today in the game. The Vikings catcher curiously asks Deeun about his team's new rookie player on the roster. Deeun looks confused and asks if he means Gunwu or his other rookie teammate named Kyungwoo. The catcher feels baffled because he has never heard of Kyungwoo before now. From the on-deck circle, No Kyungwoo asks Gunwu if the players talk about him right now. Kyungwoo imagines he gets seen as a threat while Gunwu thinks his conceited personality fits his name perfectly well. Deeun realizes the catcher was asking about Gunwu and wonders why he wants to know. The Vikings catcher pounds his mitt and feels agitated by the cheering crowd making noise. He complains to Deeun that his teammate was losing his temper again like usual. Deegun's expression darkens as he states that the Vikings have no room to talk about manners at all. He angrily reminds the catcher of their past mistreatment and challenges Chongo to face him directly instead. Deeun stands silently at the plate with a single bead of sweat rolling down his face slowly. The catcher stares with intensity and asks Deeun why he is not saying anything back to him. The catcher surprisingly unbuckles his gear, which catches Deeun off guard completely. Realizing it was a friendly gesture meant well, Deeun smiles and agrees to talk with Hyung later after the game. Gunwu watches from the on-deck circle and wonders what conversation made Deeun so anxious and nervous. Deeun unleashes his frustration and makes solid contact with the ball coming at him. The ball splits the outfielders for what looks like a sure double from young Deeun, but Vikings outfielder Seo Hyung makes a spectacular diving catch to stop the extra base hit. Deeun gets held at first base while Hyung smirks because he feels annoyed that Deeun did not even try to advance further. The announcer introduces the next batter, who becomes the powerful fifth hitter called Wolfpack in the lineup. Wolfpack rips a single hit and puts Ocean's runners on first and second with no outs recorded. Hyung sits in the outfield and feels furious that the Oceans keep getting hits against them. Gunwu steps into the batter's box as the stadium chants his name over and over. Hyung glares from the outfield and recognizes the arrogant punk who beat them before in the last game. Gunwu connects with the pitch and Hyung can only watch as the ball sails high into the air above. Hyung stumbles in disbelief because he knows it goes out of the park. The ball smashes off the top of the scoreboard for a home run that counts. Gunwu rounds the bases after hitting a towering 3-run homer, which becomes his third of the season so far. As the crowd roars his name loudly, a furious Hyung grits his teeth hard and mutters that guy again under his breath. Another powerful hit sends the ball flying through the air once more. The ball soars over the wall as Hyung watches without being able to do anything. Kyungwoo runs the bases with a shocked and excited expression on his face while celebrating his first home run ever. The team gives Kyungwoo the silent treatment as a no-attention ceremony while he tries and fails to get a high five from anyone. A Vikings player feels angry over the back-to-back homers they give up and gets mad that a last-place team makes them look like fools out there. The scoreboard shows the Oceans lead by 7 runs in the top of the 8th inning and the crowd keeps roaring. Anticipating a win coming soon, the Oceans fans belt out cheers loud enough to shake the entire stadium around them. Meanwhile, the sad and depressing Vikings dugout gets compared to looking like a funeral party as all of their team members lose hope and belief of winning the game at this point. A Vikings coach walks over and tells Coach Kim that he needs to bring in a new pitcher to take over for the next inning that is coming up soon. A new pitcher who is wearing the number 45 on his uniform walks out to the mound on the field, and he gets known and recognized for throwing pitches that can go up to 152 km per hour, which is really fast. A teammate calls out the pitcher's name from the dugout and he turns his head around in response to hear what they want to say to him. The guy respectfully answers by saying yes senior to his serious-faced teammate who is waiting in the dugout area for a response from him. Following orders from his senior, Kim Il-jeon unleashes a powerful pitch from the mound toward home plate. Wolfpack makes contact with the ball and hits a ground ball straight to the shortstop position on the field. The runner on second base named Deeun gets forced to hold his position at the base without advancing. The shortstop makes the throw to first base for the second out of the inning, which leaves Deeun stranded on second base still. Wolfpack looks confused as the Oceans fans continue to cheer for him despite getting out in a critical moment of the game. In the middle of the roaring crowd making noise, Gunwu wearing number 70 steps forward and gets ready for his turn at bat coming up. As the crowd chants Gunwu's name over and over, Wolfpack sits with sadness in the dugout after his mysterious defeat at the plate. In the stands where people watch, fans recognize Yuri from Gunwu's interview on television and remark on how beautiful she looks in person. Gunwu steps up to the plate with determination to perform well in front of Yuri and the roaring crowd around him. He thinks to himself that despite their 7-point lead over the other team, they cannot afford to relax with their unreliable bullpen that struggles. He tightens his grip on the bat handle and focuses with intensity on the pitcher. His resolve becomes clear in his mind that if there exists a chance to increase the lead, they must take it right now. The Vikings pitcher Kim Il-jeon hears the crowd's chants for Gunwu with a toothpick hanging from his mouth casually. Il-jeon acknowledges his senior was right about the stadium's excitement level and resolves to break the Ocean's momentum they built. He concludes that their first step must be to shatter Gunwu's confidence at the plate completely. With a furious expression on his face, the pitcher prepares to throw the ball toward home. Gunwu grits his teeth hard and gets ready to swing at the incoming pitch coming at him. The baseball speeds directly towards a shocked Gunwu's head without warning at all. The ball smashes into the protective netting behind the plate, which shocks the fan sitting right behind home plate watching. Yuri watches from the stands with a look of pure horror on her face as it happens. Luckily for everyone, the dangerous pitch only knocked off Gunwu's helmet as he sat dazed on the ground in the dirt. Gunwu jumps to his feet quickly and yells angry words while Yuri mirrors his angry expression from her seat in the stands. The pitcher Kim Il-jeon stares in wide-eyed shock at what just happened on the field. Il-jeon and Gunwu glare at each other with both of them seething with rage inside. Feeling enraged by what happened, Gunwu drops his bat and charges the mound as the announcer cries out in alarm about the situation. Pitcher Kim Il-jeon turns his body and runs as Gunwu sprints toward him with speed. The pitcher's cap flies off his head as he gets tackled from behind by someone. Someone lands a solid punch and Kim Il-jian's face swells up instantly from the impact. Yuri looks on with a sweat drop on her cheek and feels worried by the escalating violence on the field. A close-up shows the determined eyes of the Ocean's catcher through his mask as he watches. Seo Hyung, who ordered the pitch, watches the brawl unfold with a stunned expression on his face. Gunwu looks dazed and confused with a sweat drop on his temple as if he did not throw the punch himself. Yang Dun grabs the enraged Kim Il-jian and tells him that enough is enough now. Players from both teams pour onto the field from their dugouts and escalate the confrontation into a full-blown bench-clearing brawl between everyone. Hyung furiously yells at another guy from across the chaos and asks if he lost his mind completely. Deeun points back at him and challenges Hyung to stop hiding and say what he has to say to his face directly. Deeun grits his teeth hard and his face becomes a mask of pure and complete rage inside him. In a flashback scene, a large boy scolds a young Deeun for hurting two smaller crying children on the field. A blushing young Deeun denies hitting them at all and claims they were just playing a game of tag together. Back in the present time, a smiling Deeun tells reporters the fight was just due to competitive spirit and that he will work harder going forward. Deeun, now on crutches, smiles through the pain and dismisses the incident by saying injuries are a natural part of sports everyone plays. A flashback shows a grimly determined Deeun on the field with a terrified teammate standing behind him watching. Gritting his teeth together, Deeun thinks that such a violent act is completely unacceptable, especially towards young players just out of high school recently. Deeun roars with fury on the field and his anger boils over as teammates try to intervene and stop him. The umpire shouts frantically for everyone to stop the escalating brawl happening right now. As Deeun charges into the fray of fighting, the announcer notes that someone desperately needs to stop him from continuing. The umpire's eyes widen behind his mask in disbelief at the unfolding chaos around him. In the middle of the brawl, a Vikings player gets knocked to the ground hard. The announcer reports that the umpire has fallen down and coaches are now joining the fight as one manager grabs another by the collar tightly. Fed up with everything, the umpire points in a decisive way and yells while ejecting Deeun from the game immediately. Looking utterly defeated by this, Deeun gets escorted off the field by two teammates holding him. From the Ocean's dugout where players sit, players watch in shock and one remarks how unbelievable it is to see the gentle Deeun so angry like this. Gunwu observes the scene unfolding and thinks to himself that sometimes a team leader needs to show this kind of fire to the team. As Deeun gets led away from the field, he hears his name being chanted from the stands above. The chant grows louder and echoes his name across the entire stadium for everyone to hear. Deeun stops walking and looks up, feeling surprised by the thunderous cheers from the fans supporting him. Gunwu Kyung turns back and also feels surprised by the crowd's passionate support for the ejected player leaving. As Deeun walks off the field, the crowd roars his name and their cheers for the ejected player become louder than ever before now. The scene changes to a quiet restaurant under a full moon at nighttime. Young asks Jan if he went overboard with his actions and shows him a fresh bruise on his bicep from trying to hold him back. Deeun bows his head slightly down and apologizes sincerely to his senior player. Young Han laughs it off casually and knocks back a shot of soju with a satisfied sigh coming out. Deeun looks up in confusion and asks what he means by that response. Young Han admits that as the Vikings captain, he should not say it, but some of his players look down on the Ocean's team and throwing at a batter's head is wrong completely. Deeun nervously rubs his neck and apologizes again while joking that he hopes Young Han was not hurt, as an injury at his age would take long to heal properly. Young Han dismisses his apology quickly and urges him to drink, but Deeun says he feels sorry but needs to get home tonight. While Young pours him a drink in a glass, Deeun explains that it becomes recycling day and he has to take out the trash from his place. Young Han finishes pouring a glass for Deeun and listens to his mundane excuse for leaving. Holding his phone in hand, Young Han agrees to wrap up quickly, but tells Deeun that he needs to take a picture with Il-jian first before going. On the phone, Young Han calls Il-jian over while Deeun panics in the background and exclaims that he has photo anxiety about pictures. Deeun poses awkwardly for a photo with the bruised Kim Il-jian standing next to him with a peace sign held over his head by an unseen person taking it. The scene flashes back to Deeun fighting off multiple players during the intense bench-clearing brawl that happened earlier. The serious-looking third baseman for the Irons named Jong Shin gets asked by the Irons coach Deeun if he feels worried about his former teammates after the noisy brawl that happened. Jong Shin calmly replies that he does not exactly feel worried about them at all. The coach strokes his chin and thinks to himself that feeling sorry instead of worried sounds like a much bigger problem to have. Jong Shin clarifies that it just becomes a personal feeling and he will not take it easy on the Oceans just because Deeun is out of the lineup. With a determined glint showing in his eye, he declares he needs to show them why the Irons chose him for their team. The scene shifts to the exterior of the Ocean's home field called Stadium Under the Sky. A female reporter approaches Gunwu for a pre-game interview and compliments his performance in the season opener game. Gunwu smiles and confidently tells the reporter that with legendary coach Odo on their side, the team aims to restore its reputation, and he anticipates a good matchup today. As the Ocean's lineup appears on screen for viewers, Gunwu sighs and thinks that Senior Daegun's absence definitely leaves a gap in the order. He looks out at the field and notes the weakness is especially apparent in the 7th to 9th batting spots in the lineup. Reading brutal fan comments online that call the bottom of the lineup a nap zone, Gunwu breaks into a cold sweat on his face. Resolving that the other players need to step up their game, he watches a teammate happily sign an autograph for a fan nearby. The scoreboard shows a 0-0 tie as the announcer declares the Oceans have escaped a first-inning jam and are now up to bat in their turn. The leadoff batter for the Ocean steps confidently into the batter's box at the plate. From the dugout where he sits, Gunwu analyzes his teammate and believes Hwang Sayaku's power fits better in the middle of the order since he lacks a good eye for pitches coming. From the catcher's perspective behind the plate, unleashes a powerful swing at the ball. The hit becomes a success as the announcer calls out a double that splits the field and sends the outfielder scrambling to get it. Celebrating his successful hit with excitement, Hwang Sayaku pumps his fist as the announcer declares he has opened the Ocean's offense for the inning. The crowd roars loudly and chants Hwang Sayaku's name while encouraging Mr. Hang to keep going. Standing on base safely, Hwang Sayaku cringes and wishes the fans would change the cheer because Mr. Hang sounds tacky to him. With no outs and a runner on second base, the Ocean's second batter Bae Byung-han steps up to the plate ready. Bae Byung-han, the new batter coming up, maintains a calm and focused expression as he readies his stance in the box. As Gunwu thinks that his senior Yong-han is an oddball person, Yang-han makes solid contact with the ball pitched. Gunwu acknowledges Yong-han's excellent contact skills as he skillfully turns an outside slider into a fair ball for a hit on the field. Watching from the dugout area, Gunwu thinks his eccentric teammate is making too much of a fuss with his over-the-top celebration happening. The stadium scoreboard flashes to life and announces the third batter wearing 79, Gunwu coming up. As the crowd's cheers intensify all around, Kong Gunwu grips his bat tightly and focuses his energy for the at-bat at the plate ahead. Gunwu listens as the stadium echoes with chants of his name over and over. The Irons catcher gives a sign with his fingers, but the pitcher sweating nervously shakes his head in disagreement with the call. Gunwu observes the opposition on the mound and notes that the pitcher Lee Young is taking a long time and seems deep in thought about something. Finally decided on what to throw, the pitcher winds up and unleashes the ball toward home plate fast. Gunwu's eyes sharpen as he anticipates the pitch coming and thinks he knows what's coming at him. The pitch veers wildly inside and forces Gunwu to quickly pull back his bat as the catcher snags it behind the plate. The pitcher Tae-young breathes a sigh of relief and realizes he narrowly avoided giving up a run on a wild pitch throw. The pitcher throws another straight ball and his control clearly falters under pressure from the situation. Gritting his teeth in frustration hard, the pitcher struggles to compose himself after giving up 2 consecutive hits to batters. The ball bounces in the dirt for a third time and the announcer calls 3 straight balls in the count. Gunwu smirks confidently and recognizes the advantageous 3 balls and no strikes count he has. With a determined grin on his face, Gunwu prepares to swing and anticipates an easy pitch down the middle coming. Gunwu thinks to himself that there exists no better pitch to hit than a desperate strike thrown just to catch the count up. The pitch comes in low and the catcher dives to stop it from getting past. As Gunwu holds his swing back, he draws a walk to first base. On his way to first base, Gunwu feels he messed up and thinks he should have stepped up and hit instead of relying on a walk to advance. A spark of realization hits Gunwu as he stands on the base path waiting. With the bases now loaded full of runners, Wolfpack unleashes a huge swing and makes perfect contact with the ball. Gunwu watches from the base and his expression becomes one of pure shock at the power of the hit he sees. From Gunwu's point of view watching, baseball soars high and far through the air and heads out of the stadium completely. The ball lands on the pavement outside the park and rolls away down the street. As Wolfpack celebrates his hit, the announcer screams in excitement and declares a grand slam home run for the slugger at bat. Gunwu clenches his fist tightly and shouts his amazement at Wolfpack's incredible feat of power. Smiling with approval, Gunwu admits that while he did not expect much from Wolfpack before, his raw power is undeniable to everyone. In the middle of the roar of the crowd chanting Wolfpack's name, a new player walks past a thoughtful Gunwu standing there. The game continues with Gunwu running the bases while the opposing third baseman fields the ball hit. The announcer introduces the fielder as the Irons' third baseman and former Oceans player named Jong Shin on the team. Standing on base, Gunwu stares at his former teammate and wonders about the arrogant look on his face. The scene shifts to Jong Shin at bat and launches a baseball high into the sky with a powerful swing of his bat. The ball smashes directly into the stadium scoreboard for a massive home run hit. Jong Shin rounds the bases as the announcer declares he closed the gap to 4-3 and proved his worth to the Irons team. In a stunning turn of events that happens, Gunwu is now on the pitcher mound and glares intensely at his rival across. After crossing home plate safely, Jong Shin gives Gunwu a cool and determined stare back at him. Gunwu stares back from the mound and sizes up Jong Shin with his eyes. As he walks back to the dugout area, Gunwu re-evaluates his opponent and realizes his expression was not arrogance at all, but the pure confidence of relentless training and work. A small, determined smile appears on Gunwu's face as he accepts the challenge on the mound ahead. The scoreboard shows the new score with the Oceans leading 4-3 in the bottom of the 4th inning right now. An Oceans batter gets struck out by a fastball right down the middle of the plate. The Irons pitcher Tae-young shouts after securing the strikeout against the batter. Watching from the dugout where he sits, Gunwu notes that the pitcher seems to have completely revived after facing the team's weak nap zone batters in the lineup. An Oceans batter makes solid contact with the ball and sends a well-struck ball flying into the outfield area. With a desperate lunge forward, Gunwu makes a spectacular diving catch and snatches the ball just before it hits the dirt ground. From his knees on the field, Gunwu unleashes a powerful throw to first base which stuns the crowd watching. The umpire signals the out with a punch of his fist. As the announcer declares that Gunwu's incredible defense saved a potential run from scoring, Gunwu stands up and dusts himself off while the stadium erupts in a massive roar for his amazing play. The crowd goes wild and chants Gunwu's name while praising his amazing defensive skills on display. Watching from the stands above, an unknown man in an Irons jersey and cap smiles and thinks Gunwu is an interesting player to watch. The Oceans batting lineup appears on the scoreboard and highlights the current game situation for everyone. Gunwu reflects that with the weak nap zone batters out of the way now, the lineup is perfectly positioned for a rally to score. Adjusting his helmet on his head, Gunwu resolves to break through this inning because he knows their bullpen cannot hold a narrow one-run lead today. In a stunning display of skill on the field, Jong Shin makes a picture-perfect diving catch and robs the Oceans of a hit cleanly. Commentators praise the Irons for responding to great defense with a great defensive play of their own in return. At the plate standing ready, Gunwu recognizes that the Irons are not going to back down easily at all. An Oceans batter gets a lucky hit that just barely evades the first baseman's glove reaching. Bae Yong-han celebrates his multi-hit game as the announcer marvels at how a mishit became a hit and calls it the fun of baseball to watch. Watching from the dugout area, Gunwu thinks his teammate is an odd fellow for hitting a bad pitch after missing a perfect one earlier in the game. Gunwu turns to Wolfpack and tells him to take a full practice swing when he gets on deck waiting. Wolfpack gives a confident grin and agrees while saying to leave it to him with trust. Stepping up to the plate at a crucial moment, Gunwu readies his bat with a runner on first base. Gunwu analyzes the pitcher carefully and notes his high pitch count of 89 suggests his strength is fading away. Recalling the recent plays that happened, Gunwu concludes that the pitcher is losing power, which makes him vulnerable to hits. Putting himself in the pitcher's shoes mentally, Gunwu begins to strategize his approach. He realizes that no pitcher would want to face Wolfpack next, especially after seeing his menacing full swing on deck waiting. Afterward, Gunwu realizes that this is what Busan baseball is really like. No matter how much baseball already means to the city, even a weekday game can sell out just because the team has won 3 games in a row. He thinks to himself that he needs to stay sharp, because when the Oceans are doing well, the stadium can easily fill up even on weekdays. Then the pitcher throws the ball, and the batter hits it toward shortstop. Gunwu quickly grabs the ball and fires it straight to the plate, getting the batter out. Seeing that amazing play, one of Gunwu's teammates gets really excited and praises him, but Gunwu tries to explain that it was actually the change-up pitch that made the play possible in the first place. Gunwu then thinks that he showed him some good defense and some lip service, so he will feel a bit more comfortable pitching now. Now, the Oceans are up in the bottom of the first inning and on the Irons mound, Heyman is off to a fresh start with 2 straight outs. On the other hand, Gunwu is in the batter's position and he doesn't know much about Heyman except the fact that he is 30+. Heyman then throws the ball which Gunwu misses and he realizes that Heyman's control is good but his movement is nothing so special as to throw him off. Gunwu doesn't swing at a few pitches and ends up reaching base while Heyman starts to struggle. Heyman thinks that Gunwu isn't swinging not because he can't, but because he's holding back on purpose. The game goes on, and Wolfpack hits a high fly ball to the outfield, but the center fielder catches it easily. Gunwu thinks that Wolfpack's style is all or nothing, so it's natural for him to have trouble against a pitcher like Heyman who focuses on control and finesse. Then Kyungwoo bumps into Gunwu and asks why he didn't hit the ball, but Gunwu realizes that if Kyungwoo can just show a little more impact on both offense and defense, they have a real shot at winning. Gunwu then explains to Kyungwoo that both pitchers on the opposing team are mainly using changeups as their key outpitch. Hearing that, Kyungwoo realizes that Gunwu is on a completely different level, and he remembers how he gave up the shortstop position because of him. As he thinks about it more, he notices that even though he's always chasing after the ball, he seems to know exactly where it's going, yet he never wants to back away. So, when the coach asked if he could handle playing second base, he confidently said yes, knowing that his grandmother, the one who raised him while his parents were always busy, was watching him. Kyungwoo then starts playing like a fast, unstoppable beast, and Gunwu thinks to himself that if Kyungwoo keeps improving like this, he'll become a huge asset to their team's championship dream. Afterward, the crowd starts cheering loudly for the Oceans, but Jiho ends up hitting a weak grounder to second base. On the next pitch, Heyman smoothly strikes him out, and then it's Iron's turn to bat. Before the next play, Gunwu tells Lee Hoon to trust his defense and pitch with confidence. Lee Hoon nods and decides to throw a four-seam fastball, which actually turns out pretty solid. Still, Gunwu can't help but think that the real problem is the catcher keeps missing forkballs and changeups, or the infielders can't handle them well, which forces the pitcher to rely too much on his four-seam fastball. Lee Hoon throws his pitch, and the batter manages to hit it, but Gunwu easily catches the ball. Without wasting a second, he throws it quickly to Kyungwoo, who then tosses it to first base, getting the batter out. After that play, it becomes the Ocean's turn to bat, and the first batter hits a weak ground ball towards second base. Meanwhile, Kyungtae is bleeding from his finger, which might have been caused by his iron glove. The next batter up is Gunwu, and Heyman starts to feel nervous the moment he sees him step up to the plate. When the crowd begins cheering loudly for Gunwu, Heyman gets even more anxious. Gunwu thinks to himself that they can keep chanting his name even louder, because the higher the crowd's expectations get, the more a rookie like him wants to live up to them and show what he can do. Heyman then throws a changeup, but Gunwu doesn't hit it, which surprises Heyman, thinking how he can hold up to that. Meanwhile, Gunwu thinks that he wasn't mistaken when he saw him smile after giving him a walk in the previous at-bat, as it was intentional. He thinks that his strategy was to throw bait pitches, and if he swing, that's great. Heyman then throws another ball, which makes everyone make fun of him, thinking that he might have lost his strength. Gunwu thinks to himself that Deeun looks visibly shaken up right now, and he does not think that Deeun would be able to break down so easily like this because he has a whole lot of experience playing baseball. The real issue and problem that they need to worry about is their all-or-nothing kind of guy whose name is Wolfpack. Wolfpack is a power hitter who relies heavily on uppercut swings when he bats and plays with slow speed when he runs, but the team has to at least avoid and prevent a double play from happening no matter what. Just then, in that very moment, Wolfpack manages to make solid contact and hit a grand home run shot that sends the ball flying out of the park, which causes their team to take the lead and get ahead in the game, and Heyman ends up getting replaced and taken out. Seeing all of that, Gunwu thinks to himself that with this result, Lee Hoon has now met all the requirements that are needed for getting a win, so his face should definitely be all smiles and happiness right now. After that, the Irons close the gap to just 2 runs, and with 1 out, the bases are loaded again, putting the Oceans in a really critical situation. The Oceans pitcher then throws a wild pitch, and the ball slips past the catcher and rolls away. Right after that, the Irons send their ace batter, Jong Shin, to the plate. Seeing him step up, Gunwu thinks that things are about to get a lot tougher. He realizes that this is Jong Shin's first game against his former team, and after losing badly yesterday, he's probably playing with everything he's got to avoid dropping the series. Gunwu starts wondering if their bullpen will be able to hold out under this kind of pressure. Gunwu thinks that the smartest move right now would be to force a grounder with a low breaking ball and end the game with a double play. He then carefully scans the field and realizes that Jong Shin's biggest weakness is his slow speed when running the bases. The match continues as the pitcher throws the ball toward home plate, and Jong Shin makes contact, sending it flying toward left center field. Gunwu rushes to catch it and almost grabs it with his glove, but he loses his balance and falls to the ground. The ball nearly slips out and drops, but another player from the team dives in and manages to catch it at the very last moment, saving Gunwu from making an error and ending the inning safely. Everyone on the team and in the crowd then starts cheering loudly and excitedly for Gunwu and what just happened. Gunwu meets up with Yuri, who tells him with excitement that he was so perfect and amazing even during the interview he gave after the game, and Gunwu thinks to himself that this moment right here is the exact reason why he joined and signed with the Oceans team, because he loves seeing Yuri's excited and happy face the most out of anything else. She then tells him that she can't help him with training today because she needs to finish her assignment if she wants to go to the game tomorrow. Gunwu notices that she's studying sports development and realizes that her dream has always been to join the Ocean's coaching staff, which is why she chose to major in sports science. A little while later, Gunwu sits down to watch a documentary about Brazil's youth soccer, and when Yuri sees it, she immediately starts analyzing and explaining how Brazil's youth soccer system works with full focus and excitement. Seeing that, Gunwu thinks that with that level of focus, she won't have any trouble watching the game tomorrow. Later that day, he goes out to buy some coffee, thinking to himself that he didn't start that documentary just to take away Yuri's chance to grow on her own. As he reaches for his coffee, he suddenly notices that one of the small dots on his ring has disappeared, but he still has no clue what that means. After that, Gunwu brings Yuri her favorite iced dolce latte, which surprises her so much that she leans in close to his face, looking both curious and flustered. Gunwu's team gets their first loss of the season after winning 5 games, but they still stay in second place right behind the Meteor's 5-game winning, so it's not really that bad. Gunwu thinks that Daegun's suspension will be lifted soon, so the batting lineup should get better, but the real issue is with their pitching staff. Today's starting pitcher, Hyunho, is a lefty, but his pitches are slow and all over the place. Later, when Gunwu goes back home, his dad looks surprised to see him, but then his mom says that his dad got caught on camera at the game today, dancing around with a bag over his head. The next day, the Ocean's players go up to the boss who is working at a chicken cart and ask him why he does not come back to playing baseball anymore, but he says to them that if he does come back to play, then no one will be there to fry the chicken that they order from him. Out of nowhere, one of the players on the team hears some news that Unte has transferred and moved over to the Irons team, so they all start wondering and thinking about who is now going to come and join the Oceans to replace him. Then after a little while, a player whose name is Yuihin arrives at the place where they are, which makes Gunwu wonder and question in his mind if this guy is supposed to be better and more skilled than all the Ocean's catchers combined and put together. 1 hour before all of this happened, Yuri got shocked and surprised to hear the news that Yuihin is joining and signing with the team, which means that the Oceans are finally going to get a proper and real catcher now for the first time. Gunwu has no idea who that guy is since he hardly has any game records. Yuri tells him that he's the 3rd backup catcher for the Irons, but even though he's just a backup, he's still way better than all the Ocean's catchers put together. Back in the present, Yuihin meets up with Jinseok, and after they talk and chat with each other for a little bit, Yuihin finally walks over and introduces himself to Gunwu in a friendly and nice way. Later, Yuihin and the other players start practicing and Yuihin is the one who steps up to bat during the practice. He hits a weird and unusual shot that does not look normal, which makes Gunwu think to himself that something feels a bit off and strange about the situation, as he notices that Yuihin seems pretty similar to him in some ways. Just then, Kyungwoo tells Gunwu that he knows who Yuihin actually is and what his background is, and then Gunwu realizes and understands that Kyungwoo might have figured out and discovered that he was trying to find out who Yuihin actually is this whole time. Later on, Gunwu thinks to himself that Yuihin is someone who cannot stay still at all and is always moving around, and he is also someone who can easily befriend anyone and make friends with people without any problems. The first game of the season between the Thunderbuzz and the Ocean starts with the Oceans taking the lead in the very first inning. Meanwhile, Gunwu notices that the team's mood has dropped a little after their first loss of the season, especially since they're usually used to being near the bottom. Next up to bat is Yuihin, who hits a high fly ball that ends up falling right between the shortstop and the left fielder. However, thanks to Yuihin's performance, the Oceans win against the Thunderbuzz, but Gunwu's own achievements get a little overlooked because Yuri asks him to go get Yuihin's autograph instead. Gunwu thinks about the team's current record, which is 6 wins and 1 loss, keeping them in first place in the league. The next day, Yuri finally finishes her assignment when she realizes it's already 12, which means Gunwu must have already left for Seoul. Because of that, she rushes to complete her work quickly so she can see him for a little while. Yuri then gets a text from Gunwu saying that he's on his way to Seoul and that he even left some snacks at her door. Excited, she runs to check, but when she opens the door, there's nothing there. She quickly realizes that her brother has been eating all the sweets Gunwu got for her, and she starts chasing him around, hitting him lightly in frustration. While dealing with him, she notices a letter inside the box of sweets, and it says that Gunwu misses her. Reading that, she immediately decides to leave the house, saying she's heading to Seoul right away. When she arrives at the stadium, she watches the match on her phone, feeling a bit sad as she sees the Oceans lost the game. While watching, she overhears people talking about how Gunwu's defense wasn't just good, but actually at a major league level, which makes her happy because at least he did well today. She then notices the players coming out, and when she sees Gunwu, she tries to walk up to him, but the crowd pushes her back. Yuri feels a little sad that Gunwu can't notice her in such a big crowd, so she starts talking to her mother on the phone. Suddenly, Gunwu touches her shoulder, and Yuri wonders how he even saw her in all that crowd. Soon, the crowd also notices Yuri and starts whispering that she might be the girl Gunwu talked about in one of his interviews. Gunwu quickly moves forward and hugs Yuri tightly and thanks her for everything that she has done for him and all the support she has given. Later on, in the second game of the season that is being played between the Bulldozers team and the Oceans team. The game turns into another slugfest type of game with the score sitting and staying at 8-7 between the two teams. In the final inning of the game, Gunwu steps up to the plate to bat, and Breadman walks over to where he is standing and says to him that if he manages to hit a game-winning home run right now, he will let him have an hour of free time today to go hang out and spend time with Yuri. After hearing that offer from Breadman, Gunwu steps up and smacks a game-winning home run shot that wins the game, and later on he happily goes out to spend time with Yuri like he wanted to do. At the Bulldozers' strength analysis room, they think the Ocean's rankings will probably drop eventually, but the problem is that the team is in really good form right now. The Bulldozers coach tells the team to watch out for one key player, Gunwu, who has been hitting home runs even against some of the league's top fireball pitchers, earning the nickname Fastball Killer. Later that night, the match begins, and the Ocean's starting pitcher, Garfield, throws the ball, but the Bulldozers' Woodju manages to hold back. Seeing this, Gunwu thinks that they are trying to increase the pitch count, remove the starter early, and target the weak bullpen. Following that play, Garfield asks Gunwu if there is any place in Korea that sells soundproof catcher's masks, because it is too noisy and loud for him to keep his cool and stay calm during the game, and he cannot ask for a different catcher to work with because no one else can block pitches as well as the current one does. Afterward, the Bulldozers player shoots and hits a shot into the outfield, and seeing that ball fly through the air, Kyungwoo quickly runs as fast as he can to catch it because he wants to show and prove to everyone that he is even better and more skilled than Garfield is. At the very last moment when the ball is about to drop, Gunwu jumps up high into the air and catches the ball in his glove, which gets him all the praises and compliments from the crowd in the stands and everyone else who is watching the game happen. Afterward, Gunwu gets ready to step up to the plate as the batter, but a senior teammate whispers some advice that the pitcher is going to throw a breaking ball. Gunwu thinks to himself and wonders whether that tip was really worth whispering about at all, since the pitcher who has been throwing 150 km/h fastballs to everyone else who bats is now only throwing him breaking balls instead of the fast pitches that he threw to others. The catcher then starts to tease Gunwu and asks him if he recently broke up with his girlfriend because he has not hit a home run yet in the game so far. Gunwu ignores him completely and realizes that it is just trash talk that is meant to mess with his head and distract him, so he focuses his attention on the pitcher instead of the catcher. He notices and sees that the pitcher keeps glancing over at the bench multiple times during the at-bat, which shows and tells him that they do not like the bench's strategy or the calls that they are making for him. The pitcher winds up and throws the ball toward the plate and Gunwu makes perfect contact with his bat, sending the ball flying out of the park for a home run shot. Meanwhile, Suwon Diamond's ace Sunki watches Gunwu's news on internet and gets ready to destroy the Oceans because they rejected him and picked someone else. Since he was young, he has always been a fan of the Oceans and he dreamed of wearing Oceans uniform, but they crushed his dream. The Oceans chose someone else over him, and from that moment on, even though he had perfect 1.5 vision in both eyes, he started wearing glasses whenever he stood on the mound. Back in the present, the Oceans are playing a match against Sunki's team, and he thinks that the louder the Oceans fans cheer, the more his own presence will stand out and shine. After that, the game begins with the Oceans taking the first turn at batting, and their leadoff hitter, Seokyu, steps up to the mound. Seeing him, Sunki thinks that the guy is the third baseman who's known as the pride of the Oceans. He has power, solid contact skills, and good speed, but his plate discipline still needs work. Sunki then throws a fastball that goes straight for a strike, and on the second pitch, he throws another fastball that Seokyu misses completely, making it another strike. The catcher then signals for a breaking ball, but Sunki decides to throw one more fastball instead, which Seokyu manages to hit, though his bat breaks in the process. The ball flies high into the air, and Seongju runs up and catches it cleanly. The catcher who catches the ball collides with another player who tells the catcher that Sunki is pretty relentless with his nagging, but he's always the first one to arrive at practice and the last to leave. After that, the second batter of the Ocean steps up to the plate, which makes Sunki a bit angry because this batter signed a huge 7 billion won contract as a free agent. Sunki manages to get him out easily, and then the next batter walks up. It's none other than Gunwu, the one Sunki has been waiting to face all this time. Gunwu thinks to himself that he's faced Sunki before when they were both on the national team in his previous life, but back then Sunki looked ordinary, while now there's a sharp spark of confidence and determination in his eyes. The commentators quickly warn Sunki that Gunwu is known as the fastball killer, a player who has hit every fast pitch thrown at him by talented pitchers in the past. Hearing that, Sunki decides to throw his strongest fastball, thinking there's no way Gunwu can hit it this time, but to his surprise, Gunwu smacks it cleanly for an amazing shot. Watching that, Sunki finally admits to himself that Gunwu is more than qualified to be a key supporting player in his mission to lead the Oceans to victory. Afterward, everyone starts wondering if Sunki is going to be okay after giving up that home run to Gunwu earlier. Sunki manages to strike out another batter with his fastball, but when Kyungwoo steps up to the mound, he also gets out quickly. Kyungwoo can't help but wonder how Gunwu was even able to hit that fastball in the first place. Gunwu tells him to stop whining and to go practice his swings against the wall instead. He then adds, half-jokingly, that Kyungwoo is missing two important things: fundamentals and a brain. However, the coach thinks that Sunki has gotten even more intense since Gunwoo's home run, and he thinks that the scout team is useless because Sunki should have been in Oceans. Finally, Gunwu steps back up to the mound again, which makes Sunki feel fired up all over. Gunwu then hits a strong line drive, and Sunki completely loses his cool after giving up his second hit to him in this at-bat. In the end, the Oceans can't overcome Sunki's dominance on the field. Later, in an interview, Sunki says that he approaches every game against the Oceans as if it's Game 7 of the Korean series because, in his mind, the Oceans should never win a championship without him. He then tells the reporter that a true ace is someone who is destined to give their very best in every single game they play. Gunwu and his team get back on the bus, and he starts thinking about how, for years, the Oceans have stayed stuck near the bottom of the rankings, failing to recruit any promising rookies even when they had first-round picks. He feels that one of the hidden reasons the Oceans can't climb up from the bottom is because of their poor and useless drafting strategy. He wonders if the field team blames the scouts for picking bad players while the scouts blame the field team for not developing talent properly. It's just a never-ending cycle of blaming each other. Furthermore, Gunwu thinks to himself that his performance and the way he played will ease and reduce the distrust and doubt between the scouts and the coaching staff who have been having problems. He then checks and looks to see that his next opponent they will be facing is the Meteors team, and their fanbase is just as intense and passionate as the Oceans fanbase is. Gunwu thinks to himself that the 3-game series they are about to play with the Meteors is crucial and very important, especially the first game out of all of them. If they lose that first game, then that will be 3 straight losses in a row for the team. Some days later after that conversation, Hyunho injures himself during practice while they are working on their skills, which freaks out and worries the coach a lot because they cannot find his replacement just one day before the game is supposed to happen. Gunwu thinks to himself that the first game against the Meteors is a matchup between 5th starters from both teams, so the starting pitcher's role is more important than it has ever been before, and if Hyunho cannot pitch in the game then they will be in serious trouble. Afterward, Coach Breadman and the other coach start finding players who could replace Hyunho. Breadman finds someone on the list, but the other coach says that his pitches are slow, although he has some long relief experience in the minors. On the other hand, Gunwu is hearing everything and wonders who they are talking about, but the guy is Minsung. Gunwu thinks that Minsung looks old, but his physique is pretty average and he has been doing long relief in the minors, though it's really just a nice way to say he's a MOP up guy. Gunwu notices that there is a slightly unusual thing about Minsung, which is that he is not very talkative at all, and even Yuihyun, who is normally so upbeat and energetic all the time, looks taken aback and surprised by how quiet he is being. After that, the match between the Oceans and the Meteors begins with both teams ready to play. The starting pitcher for the Oceans is Minsung, so the catcher gives him a signal to throw an outside fastball to the batter, and when Minsung throws the pitch toward home plate, the batter makes contact and hits a foul ball that goes out of play. Gunwu finds it odd because it is a foul ball on a pitch that was under 140 km/h, and the Meteors' leadoff hitter who is batting right now is known and famous for his contact skills and ability to hit the ball well. Gunwu then tells Kyungwoo that he will be the one to get the ball that was hit, which makes Kyungwoo feel annoyed and bothered by what he just said. Meanwhile, the coach tells Breadman that he feels uneasy about the situation because Minsung doesn't have much speed, and his breaking balls aren't that great either, so if he gives up too many runs early on, things could get really bad. Breadman then asks if the coach understands why he chose Minsung, saying that while his ERA, BAA, and WHIP aren't much different from the other bullpen pitchers, what really stood out to him was Minsung's low rate of giving up consecutive hits. Minsung then throws the pitch, and the batter manages to hit it, causing Kyungwoo to sprint after the ball to catch it, but he misses. Luckily, Siwoo grabs the ball and quickly throws it back to Minsung, who manages to tag the batter out. Gunwu finds it strange, noticing that there isn't even a hint of excitement on Minsung's face as he just looks completely calm, as if nothing happened. Afterward, Minsung throws another pitch which the batter hits, so Gunwu just lays on the ground and catches the ball. However, Gunwu thinks that fans often get excited over 160 km/h fastballs and cheer whenever a pitcher throws a diving breaking ball, but that alone doesn't make someone an ace. What really matters is the combination of speed and movement, which makes it hard to give up hits even on a mistake pitch. Only when these elements come together do people call a pitcher an ace. Gunwu believes that, in that sense, Minsung is far from being an outstanding pitcher, but there is one thing about him that's different. Usually, after giving up a solid hit, pitchers hesitate to throw the same pitch again, but Minsung throws another changeup to Hyunseong even after that strong hit. Gunwu then catches another ball perfectly. Kyungwoo tells Gunwu that Minsung is amazing facing the light-hitting meteors in his debut. It looks like he's going to earn his first win in his very first match. After that, the Meteor's next batter steps up to the mound and manages to get 3 hits in a row, which is actually a dangerous situation for the team. Gunwu wonders why is Minsung so calm that his expression doesn't change at all, and that composure is enough to throw off the batters, and thanks to his quick pace, the defense doesn't lose focus. Afterward, Gunwu remembers a pitcher who had a similar style to Minsung, and that pitcher was actually Minsung himself back when he used to play in the Japanese league. In his previous life, Minsung spent years moving between the minor leagues until his 30s before finally gaining recognition, and that happened in Japan, not even in Korea. Gunwu thinks to himself that his memory about Minsung was a bit hazy since Minsung left for Japan early on, and after that, their paths never crossed again. The coach then tells Minsung that if he can throw a forkball, he will thrive in this league, but Gunwu is not sure if that would help Minsung much. Gunwu thinks that their pitching coach did not even notice when Hyunho had shoulder pain and was dealing with an injury, and he does not have a clue or any idea about what is going on with Minsung either right now. Just then, Gunwu notices that Taewon manages to strike out a batter, so he thinks that Taewon is pitching better than he expected him to perform today. However, it is not like the pitches are unhittable or impossible to contact, but the problem and real issue is the lack of a hitting coach who provides accurate analysis and helpful information to the batters on the team. Kyungwoo then gets ready to go to the mound and step into the batter's box, but Gunwu stops him and asks him how many times he shakes his hips at the plate before he swings, but Kyungwoo does not know the answer to that question, so Gunwu tells him the exact number like a freak who has been paying way too much attention. Gunwu then tells him to adjust his hip movement to match the pitcher's rhythm exactly 6 times when the pitcher is winding up to throw the ball. 2 days ago, Gunwu is on the bus and thinks that back in his major league days, he couldn't even imagine a trip this short, given that they would travel about 3,000 kilometers in a straight line. Gunwu then thinks about seeing Yuri every day and wonders if he should try getting her hired as a coach for the Oceans. He knows that Yuri always said her dream was to be an Oceans coach, and she was serious enough about her dream to major in the related field. Her major is in sabermetrics, but more accurately, it's sports science. Seeing her offer advice to him and solve problems in her unique way, he can tell Yuri has real talent. Later, Gunwu asks her if she knows Kyungwoo and says that he does have decent reflexes and it feels like he's relying on that alone. Hearing that, she quickly gets back on her computer and says that it might help if he adjusted his leg kick. She shows him his video and says that right before he swings, he shakes his hips and uses a leg kick to time himself. She then continues to explain everything about it, and Gunwu realizes that this kind of habit is hard to spot without a deep understanding. Back in the present, Gunwu wonders if he could combine and put together Yuri's analytical skills and smarts with his own experience from playing baseball for so long. Gunwu then tells Kyungwoo to shake his hips while counting the rhythm in his head, but Kyungwoo asks him what would he do if this plan and advice does not work out at all, so Gunwu responds and says to him that if it does not work and fails, then he will set him up on a blind date with someone. Hearing that, Kyungwoo quickly goes back to the mound and gets ready to bat without wasting any more time. In the audience where people are watching the game, Yuri thinks to herself that the pitcher who is throwing right now is really good and talented, but even with good stats and numbers, he is still a 20-year-old rookie who is making his debut in the major leagues today for the very first time. While watching the game closely, Gunwu thinks to himself that the pitcher's main weaknesses are in controlling his tempo and rhythm and managing the game properly while he is pitching on the mound. Just as the pitcher gets ready and prepares to throw the ball toward home plate, Gunwu wonders to himself that if Kyungwoo could slow down his leg kick by just 1 beat, then he could do something really special with the pitch. After that moment passes, the pitcher winds up and throws the ball toward the plate, and Kyungwoo hits a straight shot that goes flying out to the right field area. He starts running as fast as he can toward third base to try to get there, but then the umpire makes a call and says that it is actually a home run that left the park. Seeing and hearing that call, Kyungwoo cannot believe that he actually managed to hit a home run shot, and now the game is back to square one with the score tied up between both teams. Afterward, another player on the team asks Gunwu what he said to Kyungwoo to help him hit better, so Gunwu replies that there is this amazing coach who watched his batting and swing and pinpointed his issues and problems right away without any difficulty. The guy asks Gunwu who she is and wants to know more about her, so Gunwu reveals that it is Yuri who gave the advice, which freaks him out as he thinks to himself that Gunwu's girlfriend is a genius coach with incredible skills. The guy then asks Gunwu if she told him anything about his own flaws and mistakes when he bats, but Gunwu remembers and recalls that she actually mentioned a whole bunch of his flaws and weaknesses when they talked before, so he does not tell him that information and instead says that he would ask her about him later when he gets the chance. The match then continues with a pop fly that goes to third base, and Siwook walks back to the dugout feeling disappointed about his performance, and then the game becomes tied again with both teams having the same score. Afterward, Gunwu gets ready to go to the bat and the commentator thinks that Taewon hasn't been able to make a solid pitch since his last face-out with Gunwu. He thinks that 2 outs and runner on second is not an ideal situation for most hitters, but he likes it. Furthermore, Gunwu thinks that in times like these when the pressure is high, if he gets hasty and impatient and swings at a bad pitch that he should not swing at, his good rhythm and timing could disappear and vanish in an instant without warning. However, the Meteors then take extra time before the next pitch, so Gunwu wonders in his mind if it is going to be a change-up pitch, as the pitcher might be struggling and having trouble right now, but he has only given up 2 runs so far in the entire game. He thinks to himself that in this situation and moment what the pitching coach might say to the pitcher is pretty predictable and easy to guess, but from the pitcher's point of view and perspective, that is an incredibly difficult command and instruction to follow through with. After the first ball is thrown and the pitch is completed, Gunwu notices and realizes that it seems like the pitcher's mind is getting even more tangled and confused than it was before. The pitcher then throws an outside pitch, right at the lowest corner of the border, and it barely misses the strike zone. Gunwu manages to hit the ball, which goes right towards the fence. With the lead now in Ocean's favor, the Meteors became desperate and started making mistakes, one after another. In the end, even Taewon was unable to break through Ocean's batting lineup. Later on, Yuri asks Gunwu if he is close friends with Minsung, but Gunwu replies that he isn't. Yuri then mentions that Minsung kept looking at him during the game, so Gunwu says that maybe he was just checking the defensive position since a pitcher like Minsung especially needs solid defensive support. After that, Yuri shows Gunwu Minsung's pitching heat map, which clearly shows that most of his pitches are aimed at the low, outside corner of the strike zone. Gunwu then explains that for pitchers who throw slower pitches, that low outside corner basically becomes their survival zone because it's the safest area for them to target. However, Yuri asks what would happen if Minsung tried throwing a two-seam. When Gunwu hears that, he realizes that the reason he thought about the two-seam in the first place was because of the nickname Codex he got while playing baseball in Japan. He remembers that if he can quickly learn the two-seam again, which he had already mastered in his career during his past life, it could really help him now. Yuri then points out that even his four-seam fastball has a small reverse spin movement, which makes her think that he would actually be really good at throwing a two-seam pitch too. After that, the big game between Park Young-jae and Garfield, which sells out in just 10 minutes, gets cancelled because of the rain. During training, Garfield asks Gunwu where he learns to speak English, and that question makes Gunwu realize that he has been traded to a bunch of English teams before. While they keep practicing, Gunwu thinks that if Minsung was a bit more relaxed, it would be a lot easier to teach him the two-seam fastball. A little later, the coach comes over to where Gunwu is standing and asks him if he practiced the forkball pitch that they talked about before, but Gunwu tells him and explains that he decided to stop using it because it does not work for him no matter how much he tries and practices it. Gunwu then wonders and thinks to himself that if he leaves the coach alone without stopping him, he is going to overcorrect Minsung with the forkball and make things worse for him, but then the coach approaches and walks toward Minsung, so Gunwu quickly throws a two-seamer ball to demonstrate it, which surprises and catches the coach off guard. However, Gunwu feels that it is not quite sharp enough or good enough for major league standards and the level they play at, and he thinks and wonders to himself if Minsung is already interested in the two-seamer pitch yet or not. 2 days later after that practice session, it is finally the third game of the Oceans against the Meteors, and Park Young-jae goes to the mound from the Meteors team as the pitcher, and at the bat ready to hit is Gunwu. Afterward, the match begins with Garfield throwing 10 pitches to the batters, and then Park Young-jae strikes out 2 batters in a row one after another with his devastating and powerful curveball that they cannot hit. Seeing that, an Oceans player comes up and tells Gunwu that Yangji's condition and the way he is pitching is on a whole different level today compared to other days, but Gunwu sarcastically asks him if he is sure that it is not just because the batter drank too much alcohol yesterday and cannot hit properly because of a hangover. When Gunwu finally steps up to the mound, the entire stadium explodes in cheers for him. Standing on the pitcher's mound getting ready to throw, Park Yong-jae stares directly at Gunwu and thinks to himself that this guy is definitely the real deal and not just hyped up rookie who already messed up and defeated even elite pitchers like Sunki and Kwanjang in previous games, and now it is his turn to face him and see what he can do. Earlier, Yuri told Gunwu that facing Park Yong-jae won't be easy because this season's stats show that his two-seam fastball is one of the best in the KBO. She also explains that when Yong-jae feels like the game is at a key moment, he usually relies on his power to handle the pressure. But during those times, his mistakes also go up by about 10%. Now, in the present, Gunwu thinks it's still early in the game and not a big moment yet, but Park Yong-jae clearly believes this situation is already an important one. Park Yong-jae then throws the ball which Gunwu immediately hits a home run and shocks Park Yong-jae. No one can believe that Gunwu managed to crush that first pitch which was a 152 km high fastball. Because of Gunwu, everyone on the team gets confidence that they can score as well, no matter who the opponent is. After that, Deeun hits a shot that goes between first base and second base, and with this hit the Oceans create another opportunity and chance with a runner standing on first base ready to advance. Now after Daegun's turn is over, it is Kyungwoo's turn on the batting and he steps up to the plate. He thinks to himself that if Yong-jae does not want to be shown an early exit and get taken out of the game, he should end this inning right here and now. Earlier before the game started and began, Yuri told Gunwu some really important information and explained that Yangji's pitch speed is slower and not as fast as Sunki's pitches are when he throws, and his control is not as precise and accurate as Kwanjang's control is when he pitches, but his strengths are top tier and very good at what they do, including his two-seam pitch that he throws, his curveball that breaks really well, and most importantly of all his abilities, his mental toughness and ability to stay calm and composed under pressure situations. Back in the present time during the game that is being played, Park Yong-jae manages to strike out the batter who is facing him and get him out without allowing any runs to score for the other team at all. Seeing this, Gunwu thinks that Yuri is even more impressive than he first believed. He had always assumed she was just naturally talented, but everything she said about Kyungwoo and then Minsung turned out to be completely right. Gunwu reflects that he could have won the Cy Young Award, the Gold Glove, and even been the MVP in the major leagues. Back then, he believed he earned his skills purely because of his natural talent, but now he understands that if it hadn't been for Yuri, he might have ended up as just a rare player who could both pitch and hit, without ever truly standing out. Gunwu then looks at the batter and remembers that he also started as a pitcher when he first joined the pros, but over time he developed strong wrist power that the Meteors are now watching very closely. He thinks to himself that the opponent on the mound is Park Yong-jae, and he knows that the crucial moment is only just beginning. He then sees Garfield's face turning red with frustration, but instead of trying to calm him down, he tells Kyungwoo that the ball will move faster than usual because the grass is wet. After that, Garfield throws the ball toward home plate, and the batter hits it and sends it flying into the field, but the third baseman, who is named Seokyu, completely misses it because it gets lost somewhere in his line of sight. Seokyu moves really quickly to recover from his mistake and right away grabs the ball off the ground and throws it with all his strength to the base, somehow managing to get the player out in what looks like a close play, but when everyone looks at the umpire for the call, the umpire signals that the runner is actually safe. When Gunwu sees what just happens with the umpire's call that seems wrong, he decides to ask for a video review of the play to make sure the call is correct, and after the review is looked at carefully, it turns out that the batter is actually out just like everyone on the team originally thinks. After all of this happens, Gunwu takes a moment to look at Garfield and notices that Garfield finally gets his composure and mental focus back, which means that the real game is truly starting now. Park Yong-jae then steps up to pitch the next ball, and when he throws it, it becomes a pop fly that goes straight up into the air toward the catcher's position. The game continues to stay fiercely competitive between both teams, with only a one-run difference keeping them apart until the very end. Gunwu then gets to the mound as a batter and steps into the batter's box, and he thinks to himself that it is the bottom of the ninth inning with 2 outs already recorded and runners standing on first base and second base waiting. This is the kind of pressure situation that would make any rookie player feel really nervous and scared, but he is completely used to it because he has been through this exact situation countless times in his past life before. The pitcher on the other hand is getting even more nervous with each passing second, so Gunwu wonders to himself that Yong-jae is the kind of person who would smile at him and say it's okay even if he ruins the game for the team, and as a pitcher who is already struggling with his control, he is way too tense and worried to even throw the ball in the strike zone properly. The pitcher then throws a mistake pitch that goes right into the strike zone where Gunwu wants it, but then the match continues to go on and Yuri's mom, who is sitting somewhere in the audience watching the game, cheers really loudly for Gunwu to do well. When everyone sees what is happening, they all start chanting Yuri's name over and over again and they tell Gunwu that he needs to hit a home run just for her right now. After that moment happens, Gunwu steps up to the plate and hits a home run shot that goes flying straight toward the fence with a lot of power, while at the same time, the runner who is on second base, Siakyu, manages to score and make it home safely without any problems. The game then comes to an end with the Oceans getting another victory just like they usually do every time they play, and then all of a sudden everyone in the crowd starts yelling really loudly that Yuri should just go ahead and kiss Gunwu right there in front of all of them. And this makes her feel even more embarrassed and uncomfortable than she already is feeling right now. When Gunwu sees all of this happening around him, he thinks to himself that in his previous life he has hit many walk-off hits that won games, but he has never once had a crowd of people chanting and asking for kisses like this before. That night, Gunwu tells Yuri that it is quite funny that the crowd tell them to kiss each other in front of everyone, so Yuri that in Busan, if someone plays baseball really well and shows great skill, they are treated like a king by all the people there. In the locker room, the senior thinks about 3 years ago, when they win the championship, and he is full of passion and excitement, but then they get runner-up for 2 consecutive years after that tournament. Soon, the praise turns into hate comments from fans, and what is even harder to bear than the criticism is the relentless desire to improve and the responsibility to be better than before. That is why he decides to join the Oceans team. The senior then asks Kyungwoo where Gunwu is right now, and Kyungwoo replies that he might have already gone to see Yuri, as usual like he always does. Hearing this, the senior wonders why Gunwu would leave when he wants to buy him a drink to celebrate their win today. He looks around the locker room and spots Deeun, thinking that he must have been the happiest when he scores the winning run today for the team. The senior asks Deeun if he wants to have some drinks later to celebrate, but Deeun declines, saying he has to go out with his wife tonight. The senior asks Kyungwoo to join him, but he also refuses, explaining that if he drinks too much, he will not be able to play the next day properly. Just then, Siwook arrives at the locker room. The senior thinks he cannot handle him because he drinks 10 servings of alcohol. Later that night, the match between the Oceans and the Pirates begins on the field. The Pirates gather together, and their main player tells the team to forget everything they know about the Oceans from last year's season. He admits that he knows the Oceans are the strongest team right now, but he also makes it clear that he does not want to play as if they are below them or inferior. On the other side, an Oceans player comments that the Pirates are acting like this is a Korean game instead of a regular match between teams. He says that he plays against them in the Korean series last year and believes that for the Pirates, the thought of losing to the Oceans feels worse than death itself to them and their pride. Siakyu then throws a grounder to the third base, which the Pirates batter handles easily without any trouble at all. The senior then realizes that the Pirates player, Jiyoung, is slated to be the future national team's third baseman, but to handle a tricky hit like that so smoothly is going to be tough to deal with all season long for them. The senior then manages to hit a great shot which gets past a lot of players on the field, but the shortstop catches it easily with his glove without much effort. The senior then tries to get back to the base safely, but before he can reach it, the player from the Pirates throws the ball at the base, and he gets out from the play immediately. After that, the guy gets frustrated because nothing seems to be working against the Pirates today, but then he looks around and finds Gunwu playing, which gives him a sign of relief and hope. Afterward, Team Ocean takes the lead because of Daegun's shot that scores runs, and now Gunwu gets ready to bat next. Seeing that, the Pirates left fielder Jojun thinks that Gunwu is like an idol in Busan, and he knows why fans compare him to Gunwu all the time. However, he thinks that if they compare a rookie who just debuted less than a month ago to the league MVP, it upsets him and makes him angry. Jojun then gets to the mound and launches a bullet of a home run shot, and now the crowd starts chanting his name instead of Gunwu's name loudly. Seeing that happen, Gunwu realizes that he is quite close with Jojun in his previous life, who used to be good at baseball as well back then. It is now Gunwu's turn to step up and bat, and he manages to hit a huge home run shot that flies through the air and surprises both Jojun and everyone else who is watching the game at that moment. After that, all of the people in the crowd start cheering for Gunwu in a really loud way, and then the match keeps going on like it normally does with both of the teams playing as hard as they can. The players on the Pirates team are asking Jojun if he does not remember what he used to be like when he was a rookie player, as he is punching the air around him with a lot of excitement, but Jojun tells them that because of doing things like that, he ends up getting hit on the thigh area by the pitchers as a form of punishment for his behavior. The guy keeps talking and tells Jojun that Deeun got really angry the last time something like this happened, so he is not going to mess around with Deeun anymore after that whole incident took place. Jojun then hits another shot which ties the score once again, and everyone wonders if Ocean's pitcher will be able to overcome this crisis on the mound. After that, another batter from the Pirates hits a shot, but Gunwu handles it and gets on the base himself to throw the ball to the first base for an out. Now it is the Ocean's turn to bat, and Gunwu hits a solid single that sends the ball flying out to the left side of the field, but right after that happens, Jojun comes back with his own good hit to keep up with what Gunwu just did. As the 7th inning keeps going and moving forward, both of the players, Gunwu and Jojun, have each been able to get one single hit, one double hit, and one home run hit during this game so far. There are a lot of fans who are making comparisons between these two players even before the game starts, and now all of those fans are waiting and really want to see which one of them is going to be the final winner in this matchup between them. It is now the top part of the 8th inning, the Oceans are leading by 1 point right now, and Gunwu steps up to home plate as the batter. The pitcher then throws the ball and Gunwu manages to hit another shot but Jojun dives in to stop it. It turns out that Jojun missed the catch which leads the ball to hit the fence while Gunwu sprints past second base and heads for third. Jojun then quickly throws the ball to third but Gunwu gets safe and records a triple hit for the cycle. Later on, one of the Ocean players is reading the articles that were written about the match and he starts laughing out loud, and then he asks Gunwu if he knows anything about Jojun and what happened. After hearing that question, Gunwu starts to wonder if Jojun said anything at all about his celebration after the home run, but the guy tells him that he should tease Jojun a little bit more because he is just really curious to see how Jojun is going to react to it. Right at that moment, a senior player arrives on the scene and says that when Jojun hit his very first home run in his career, the pitcher who was facing him at that time was senior Young, as if doing the fist pump celebration after hitting it was not already enough to make things worse. Senior further tells him that his dream is to sweep a series against the Pirates before Jojun retires. Later on, Gunwu is thinking when a reporter walks up and approaches Gunwu and tells him that there has been a whole lot of interest and attention in the rivalry that exists between the two young prodigy batters who play for the Nakdong River rival teams, so the reporter wants to know what Gunwu thinks about the whole situation. Gunwu goes ahead and gives the interview to the reporter, and what he says ends up making a really big impact on people. At the match that is being played against the Pirates team once again, a senior player is wondering to himself if Deeun is going to swing at the very first pitch that comes his way again like he did before. 3 hours before this, the senior player asks Deeun a question about why he keeps swinging at all of the first pitches that come to him during his at-bats, so Deeun responds by saying that he has been feeling really insecure and worried about everything because of all the things that Jojun has been doing and accomplishing lately. Deeun then goes on to explain his past experiences and history to the senior player and tells him that this is the exact reason why every single time he plays in a game against the Pirates team, he approaches the game in an extra cautious way to be safe. Back in the present time of the game, Deeun manages to successfully hit a home run shot that goes flying, and because of what he does and accomplishes, they end up winning the second game that they play against the Pirates team. However, when they play in the third game against them, the Pirates team ends up winning the game with a walk-off hit that ends everything, and this completely shatters the senior player's dream of winning all the games. 2 days later, the Ocean's next opponent that they have to face is the Taegu Engines team, and this team has had the same home city, the same name, and the same corporate sponsor since the founding year of the KBO League when it first started. They have even recently achieved and accomplished a sweep against the Diamonds team, which is a team that they actually lost to before this. Gunwu thinks to himself that today's game is also a really crucial and important test for their starting pitchers who will be playing. Minsung then gets to the mound to take his position as the pitcher for the game, while Gunwu wonders and thinks about how he is going to do and perform today, as it seems like he has been practicing and working on the two-seam pitch during his training sessions. After that happens, Gunwu shows really great defense skills by catching all of the balls that have been coming his way during the game, and he is doing all of this because he knows that Yuri would be really happy and proud of him. Gunwu then makes a few more great plays to back up and support Minsung on the mound, and he thinks to himself that Minsung only threw the two-seam pitch one single time because he is not confident enough yet in his ability to use it. Then, they finish up the weekend series with 1 draw game and 1 loss, which gives them a 1-win 1-draw 1 overall loss against the Engines team as they wrapped up and completed their away series games. Later on, Gunwu reads the news articles that say Hyungo will be rejoining and coming back to the bullpen next week, so things will improve and get better, and Gunwu is really excited for a rookie pitcher that is set to make his debut in the upcoming series against the Angels team. Gunwu then starts showing Yuri how to pitch the ball properly, and it turns out that she is even faster at throwing than most men are when they pitch. Gunwu is trying really hard to help her make sure that she can hit 140 km per hour with her pitch, even if he has to break the radar gun machine in the process of trying. Later on, Yuri and her mother along with Gunwu decide to hold a training match together where Yuri is going to be the pitcher while her mom is going to be the batter and Gunwu is going to be the catcher behind the plate. She then winds up and throws the ball toward home plate, which makes all of the audience members cheer loudly for her performance. When she asks Gunwu what her pitching speed was on that throw, he tells her that it is not more than 140 km per hour, but turns out it is only 89 km per hour instead. How long do you think it will take for Gunwu to lead the Busan Oceans to a championship and finally put that ring on Yuri's finger? Comment, baseball hitter, if you'd like a part 2 of this series. Make sure to like and subscribe the channel for more sports manhwa recaps.